Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for a live reaction to the UEFA Champions League group stage draw, which will take place in just a few minutes' time, even if it will take an hour or an hour and a half, however long it's going to take. But we're going to be here to help you through the boredom of when UEFA hand out awards that no one cares about, especially this year, as there's no Chelsea players, except Sam Kerr, I'm pretty sure, up for voting. So we're going to try to cure your boredom throughout that period and then give you a live reaction to whoever Chelsea get drawn against in the UEFA Champions League group stages. As you can see on screen, well, you can't see because his name isn't his name, but UEFA Champions League Champs 2023. Aaron, we're joined by Aaron. Thank you very much for joining me once again, Aaron. Champions League draw. I'm not sure, well, obviously, you've not been on one of my reactions before. I'm not sure how you usually tend to watch Champions League draws, whether you pay close attention, whether you're like, I wish we could get them, or I wish we could get them. I'm not sure how you view it. But every year, I find the round of six, the group stage draw very exciting. I don't know. I find it more fun than the round of 16 draw. I don't know why. But I quite like the group stage draw. What about you, mate?
Firstly, thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it. But yeah, like with the group stage draw, I think it's a lot more interesting because you have so many teams, like so many different teams, when you think, oh, it would be cool if you could play them, or you might not have played them before, or you've got a bit of a rivalry with this team, or like even for example, say with the draw this year, looking at the other groups, you're thinking, oh, there's Inter Milan, we could be facing Lukaku, that might be one to look out for, that sort of thing. It's just like you have all these sort of different storylines you can sort of plan out in your head, and it's quite interesting to see sort of who you get drawn up against compared to like other English teams as well, and just sort of comparing them. But the the group stage draw is definitely a lot more exciting than the other ones, because with the other ones, it's a bit more limited, sort of, what the possibilities are of which teams you can play, whereas this is sort of like an open book, like it could be pretty much anyone.
No, exactly that. I'm just trying to find a lovely little like graphic that we could get up on screen where we talk about all the teams and stuff, because I did have another one. I was just going to use whatever Charlie posted, but now I open it and I saw it wasn't particularly high res. So now I'm trying to find a different one that is a little bit higher res for us to just react to and look at. Obviously, right now they're just playing some random clips from, well, funnily enough, Real Madrid beating Liverpool in the Champions League final, which is always quite fun, isn't it? But yeah, like you said, I'm just I like the group stage draw. Do you have much of a preference? How do you go into draws? Is it a case of, I'm not sure how many away days, especially in Europe, we've ever attended, but do you look at it in a case of, oh, I'd like to go there, so maybe I can go there if we get drawn against them? Or do you just look at, let's hope we get the easiest draw possible? Or what way do you look at it?
I think it depends, actually, because it is sometimes nice to think, oh, like, because I'm from England, if it's like, oh, like, there's a game, we might draw someone from the Netherlands or somebody from France or someone from Germany. It's like, actually, that's not too far away. I could look at doing that. The same way, you do sort of want to get the easier draw that you can get, just so you have that bit more security, thinking that your pathway into the next round is a little bit easier than what it might be for some others. But it really just depends. It depends on if you're like an avid goer of games, then it's kind of like you look out and you think, oh, I might be able to go to that. But it really just is a random bag. You could get pretty much anyone. So for me, it doesn't matter too much.
Fair play. I mean, I most I cannot talk today for the life of me. I most certainly do look at it to some extent in a way, or who could I, what games could I go to? Like, I'd be quite buzzing. I've never been to San Siro, right? So I'd be quite buzzing if we either get AC Milan or Inter, and I'd be quite happy with both. Or I don't know, Frankfurt. Number one, it would be the easiest team from pot one for us to get. But also, I mean, I've been to Frankfurt before, but that's the best atmosphere I've ever seen in football myself. So just for that, it'd be quite nice to go there again. Obviously, Salzburg, Austrian team, is in pot three, so we could be drawn against those. That'd just be quite easy for me to go to. It's like a 2-hour drive away. So that'd be quite nice from that perspective. But I understand, obviously, not everyone is quite going to be like that. I have found a decent graphic, not quite the graphic I was looking for, if I'm honest, but, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Let me just highlight it on screen in just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I hope you're all well. And if you're tuning in, I appreciate it very much. Just to inform you guys, so the plan is for Euro Expert to actually join us in about an hour's time. Now, whether by that point the draw will be done and we will be reacting to a completed draw, or whether we will be, well, still following along, that we'll have to wait and see. And Pice will also join us once the draw is completed. If you're not happy with that for Pice, well, have a go, Pice. He prefers to watch the draw in the comfort of his living room. and doesn't want to be spoiled by other streams being ahead of his stream when he has to watch it on his computer or whatever. Which, fair play to him, but he will join us later on. But ladies and gentlemen, put it in a chat who you'd like to be drawn against. But we'll get to talking about that in just a minute. I think we'll actually start on that. We can talk about the Aubameyang news and the Hakim Ziyech news and those kind of things in a little bit. But for now, let's get the pots up. As obviously, I assume most of you are aware, the Champions League group stage draw happens with 4 pots. So pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, and pot 4, Chelsea being in pot 2. Basically, I think it goes by UEFA coefficient. Other than pot 1, that's the league champions of their respective countries plus/or the Europa League winner, which is why you can see on screen we have Real Madrid, Man City, Bayern Munich, Porto, Eintracht Frankfurt as the Europa League winners, AC Milan, PSG, and Ajax as the Dutch champions. Were the Dutch champions always in pot 1? I swear they weren't always in pot 1. Was Ajax always pot 1 the last few years? I feel like they weren't. But anyway, in pot 2 we have Liverpool, Chelsea, Barcelona, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, RB Leipzig, and Tottenham. Not quite sure how RB Leipzig are in pot 2, if I'm honest, but sure. In general, it's quite interesting because obviously you have Real Madrid, Man City, Bayern, and PSG, those 4. But the other 4, you could almost argue that pot 2 is a more difficult pot because there's 5, 6 top teams, while in pot 1 there's only 4 top teams.
I was literally about to say that. Literally, pot 2 looked a lot more difficult than pot 1 because when you take away Madrid, City, Bayern, and PSG, you've got Porto, who are a bit of a pushover, AC Milan, who obviously they're champions, but the Italian league standard isn't really up there with the Premier League, so I feel like that'd be a lot easier. Frankfurt only there because they won the Europa League and they're not particularly great, and Ajax are losing like half of their team anyway and their manager, so God knows what they're going to be like, but they tend to do all right, but I don't think they're going to be much of a challenge.
I mean, they should be, although if we play like, Leeds shouldn't be much of a challenge, but, well, they are. So, it swings and roundabouts, as they say.
No need to bring that one up. That was not needed. We don't need to speak about that anymore. It's done. Move on.
We didn't, but it's also important that we don't give ourselves false hope and go into it. Oh, yeah, we're going to win the Champions League. I mean, that's your on-screen name, but I don't know how quite confident I am of that this year, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, bro.
Just believe. Just believe.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. From pot 1, obviously, while they're doing whatever they're doing here, I don't have sound at the moment. If I feel like later on I need sound of what's happening here, I will get it on, but I just see the screen. They're half covered by my computer screen and by my mic as well, but I will follow along as well as I can. And obviously, we've got Aaron here as well. Some Donny's being given some award. I've never seen his face in my life, so I've no idea what the award is and who he is. But congratulations, lad. But from pot 1, like I say, Real Madrid, Eintracht Frankfurt, Man City, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, PSG, Porto, and Ajax. You just talked about Ajax. Would that be the one you'd be looking at the most? For me, like I say, it's probably between AC Milan and Eintracht Frankfurt, who I'd like, because I would like to go to both games. And Eintracht Frankfurt, I'm certainly the easiest from the pot, potentially alongside Ajax, but Eintracht haven't exactly had a great start to the season. They lost 6-1 on Game 1 of the Bundesliga to Bayern Munich. Of course, Bayern Munich is Bayern Munich. I get that. But still, they lost one of their defenders, one of their main centre-backs. They lost Kostic to Juventus. So they're not even as good anymore as they were last year, and they were already a Europa League club last year. I mean, so I would probably say Frankfurt or AC Milan. What are you, Ajax, or would you look at someone else? I don't know, maybe Porto. I mean, I'm probably not going to go to Porto, if I'm honest, just because Porto is a bit of a ball ache to get to from where I am. Can't lie. But I guess it'd be quite nice to go back to the stadium where we won the Champions League. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for me, Eintracht Frankfurt would be the best possible outcome from pot 1. I mean, I am flying to Amsterdam at 6 o'clock tomorrow for a week, so Ajax might not be a bad shout either. But yeah, for me, it's between Frankfurt and Porto if we're looking at an easier game. But in terms of if I wanted to go to a game, I think it's Ajax or even AC Milan just for the San Siro because that stadium is phenomenal.
There you go. It is phenomenal, especially with AC Milan, as far as I'm aware at least, don't quote me to that though, being in the process of building a new stadium, so they won't be in the San Siro, well, forever anymore. So, if we still want to go there, we should probably go there soon type thing. But yeah, like I say again, Eintracht Frankfurt is the best atmosphere that I've ever been to in football. Now, I've not been everywhere, but I've been to quite a few places, and like it's not even remotely close. Now, I haven't been to a game in Turkey or Greece or the Balkans, but from where I've been, by far the best. So just for that, I would quite like to enjoy it again. But I do hear you. Obviously, pot 2 is ourselves. So while we're still focusing on Chelsea, let's get to pot 3 then. It's not the easiest draw either for one. It's Dortmund, RB Salzburg, of course. So good for me in terms of proximity. Shakhtar Donetsk, Inter Milan, they're probably the most difficult one of the lot. Napoli, Benfica, Sporting, 2 Portuguese teams in that pot. Interesting. And Bayer Leverkusen, where Callum Hudson-Odoi seems to be going on loan to. Well, very soon. Let's see when that is official or not. But what about that pot? What are you thinking there? Like, I mean, Shakhtar is a really tough one because on the one hand, they're like, how are they even training? On the other hand, they have more to play for than anyone. So you probably kind of want to avoid that.
I think a big thing for me, I don't know, if we loan somebody out to a team and we draw them in the Champions League, are they allowed to play against us?
Yes, they are. Remember when we played Atletico in the Champions League semis and Courtois was on loan at them?
Oh, yes. So, yeah, if that's the case, I want Inter Milan. I want to face Lukaku.
Lukaku. Okay, I was for some reason thinking you were talking about Leverkusen and Hudson-Odoi.
No.
I forgot that Lukaku is on loan and not permanent.
I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi can go on loan there, but I'm not really bothered about playing against them. But I want Inter Milan just because they have Lukaku now. I would love if we drew them. But in terms of easiest fixtures, you're probably looking at, well, Shakhtar lost quite a few players because I think it was something to do with the contracts of the players where they could terminate them and move elsewhere. So I don't think their squad is particularly great now, but I'd take Shakhtar. I think obviously Dortmund and Napoli are your harder games, but Benfica's not the hardest. Neither is Sporting, and Leverkusen are not doing particularly great either, aren't they? On like 3 losses from the first 3 games or something in the Bundesliga.
4 if you include the German Cup as well.
Oh yeah, well 4 losses in a row. But just for your sake, I'll say Salzburg because it's Austrian and you get to go to a game. So Salzburg, give us them.
There you go. I'd probably pick Salzburg as well. Like I say, or if we don't get Milan from pot 1, I would take Inter. So between Salzburg and Inter, I'd be happy with both. Now, would I also be quite happy with Dortmund? Now, as an opponent, difficult, but I've never been to Dortmund. To the ground, so I would quite fancy that, but it is quite a far drive and a bit of a hassle to fly to, so I think about that one if we do happen to get drawn against them. But pot 4, obviously a lot of these teams have actually only been qualified over yesterday, because obviously a lot of these teams came through the qualifiers. We have Rangers, Dinamo Zagreb, Marseille, Copenhagen, Bruges, or Brugge as I would call them, Celtic. What is that team, man? See, this is why I was looking for the one with names earlier, because I'm like, FC Victoria.
Is that Victoria Pilsen?
Victoria Pilsen. And what's the green one?
Hold on, let me see if I can figure this one out. I haven't got a clue, I'm being honest. I'll find the seeding, and then we'll figure that out.
Oh, it's Maccabi Haifa from Israel.
Ah, okay.
There you go. And yeah, FC Victoria Pilsen from the Czech Republic. It's an interesting one because in terms of proximity, for me personally, I don't really have a preference. Now, I understand a lot of Chelsea fans would probably love to play against Rangers, just even though we're friendly with Rangers, it's still a cool place to go. And who knows how many people have gone. But then it'd be interesting. Would you prefer to play Rangers, who we're friendly with, or Celtic, just to knock them out for Rangers? Do you know what I mean? It's an interesting one. I don't really know. Do you have a preference in pot 4, or does it? I just like to avoid Marseille because I just assume they're probably the best team of the lot. Maybe along with the Scottish teams in terms of ability. But why are Celtic even in the Champions League? Rangers didn't win the league this year, did they? They only won it last year with Gerrard.
Yeah.
So how are Rangers in the Champions League then?
Rangers won the knockouts against PSV to make it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that is very true. But I've never seen 2 Scottish teams in the Champions League group stage. Just a view. Do they just usually not get
not off the top of my dome? I can't remember the last time I saw 2 there. But just on pot 4 anyway. I think they're all shit. So I don't really care who we play there. Scotland is a very cold place, so I don't really fancy an away day up to Scotland. But one of the European ones, I wouldn't mind. I'd take it. I think Marseille are obviously the standout team in that group, but I think Club Bruges could be an interesting one as well, or Club Brugge, but they could be an interesting one as well. But the rest of them, other than the Scottish, the other 4, I think they're pretty shit. So Don't really mind. That's pretty much you'd expect a walkover for both home and away games. So I'm not really too fussed about them.
You would. I've been to a Chelsea game against Spartak Prague rather than Victoria Pilsen. So I've been to a game in the Czech Republic. But Pilsen, say even a smaller place. Now, I'm not sure my Czech geography, if that's closer to me or further to me than Prague. But not really sure if I fancy that one. Definitely not going to Israel. I guess you'd like to avoid Israel just for long travel for the team in terms of, game accumulation later on in the season, especially just before the World Cup starts. I mean, just as I said there, Dortmund are terrible this year. They can't defend to save their lives, which is true. But neither can we, So, swings and roundabouts, that one.
Dortmund are still dangerous.
Go on.
I said Dortmund are still a dangerous team. Whether they're playing shit right now or not, they're still a dangerous team. They've got a lot of top talent in their squad. So
exactly, and they signed a lot of players this summer. So the longer the season goes on, the better you'd expect them to get. If anything, although they also have Terzic as the manager again, who was not a manager before. Then they made him a manager. Then they made him some technical something. Got what's his face? Who was the manager they had? Who did they get? What manager did they have? For a year now, or 2 years. Can't remember who it was, but then they had a manager for a year, now got rid of him again and got the guy that had before him again, who they just made a technical advisor for each season in between. So make of that what you will. Uncle Jester with the stats here. Big fan. The last time there were two Scottish teams was, I believe, 2005, 2006. That's a long-ass time ago. Rangers Celtic won't be easy if we think so. No, I agree. They won't be easy. Neither of them will be easy. Well, the home games should be doable, but away games will both be difficult.
Just on the Dortmund managers, I think the name you were looking for was Marco Rose.
That's it, Marco Rose. That's it. He used to be RB Salzburg manager. That's why I actually know him quite well, because he used to work in Austria. But yeah, it was decent for Borussia Mönchengladbach the season before, but then at Dortmund he had a right stinker. But yeah, like I said earlier, I'm not really sure how it would go between Chelsea and Rangers. I'm not really sure what that atmosphere would be like, seeing as both sets of fans, especially the more hardcore ones, are very kind of affiliated to one another, if that makes sense. So it's a tough one. It's also going to be interesting because there could be some big draws when you look at pot one and you look at pot two. We've spoken about who we'd like to be drawn against, but we could also be drawn against Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG. Of course, we can't get Man City, but we could get any of the other lot. We could have, theoretically, Liverpool against Real Madrid, a repeat of the Champions League final already in the group stages. Could have Barcelona, Man City, even though they played a friendly last night already anyway. But yeah, there's some big potential draws in there. Now, so far, they've still not done anything. They are waffling with Hamit. I think it's Hamit, or is it his brother? Well, one of the Altintop brothers anyway, if any of you remember the Turkish Bundesliga players from a fair few years ago now. And Yaya Toure is there. I'm not sure what he's got to do with the Champions League trophy, but sure. I know he might have won it actually with Barcelona once. Was he at Barcelona in 2011 when they won the Champions League? He might have been, I'm not sure. If we get Leverkusen, we could be playing against Hudson Odoi. Yes, we could. I mean, I know, Jester, you probably disagree with me saying that now, but Callum would absolutely tear us a new one. just for the purpose to be pissed off at us and Tuchel for loaning him out and using him and trying to sign Anthony flipping Gordon instead of him. I'd be fuming if I was him. Do you know what I mean? So I'd totally be looking at it this way. Giorgio Marchetti, UEFA Deputy General Secretary. All right. Why? Stop waffling. Just start getting your hands on those balls. You know what I mean? That's the part I don't understand. Just get it done. Also, the next thing I don't understand, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this, Aaron. Wouldn't it make so much more sense if it was the other way around? If we started with pot 4, pot 3, pot 2, pot 1, wouldn't that, for the excitement levels, wouldn't that be way better? Also for their viewer retention for UEFA themselves, whatever broadcast people are using, whether it's DAZN or Sky or BT, whatever countries it is, some YouTube streams, whatever it is, surely it would be better to go back to front rather than front to back, right?
Yeah, it would build up a lot more tension because when you get towards the bigger clubs, they're thinking, oh, okay, what pot am I going into, sort of thing. But I think it's kind of because they start with the first pots. It's kind of okay, you see straight away who's drawing who. So sometimes people are oh, okay, they get a bit more excited like that. Whereas if you have to wait until the end, they're a bit oh, okay, I'll just turn it on later when the bigger teams are coming up.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I just had to smirk at Claude Murphy's comment saying no Arsenal is not fair. Well, unfortunately, I'm not sure if you're impersonating the Claude. I can't remember his surname, if I'm being perfectly honest. I hope you're not. Otherwise, I don't think you're doing a very good thing here. But if you're just called Claude Murphy, fair play. So, see now, Jester, I'm not sure if I have had the word pelters always wrong in my head, or if you, because you're American and this is a British kind of slang word, I thought it was with a B and it's a belter. Or is a shot way past the goal than a pelter, Aaron? Is that too? I only know belter with a B.
Belter's obviously like when you score like a screamer or something, but I'm pretty sure there is a word for like, well, you like pelt it, you just like smack it.
And then all that's different about it is just the harder P. I know it's not in English harder, but that's how it is in German. A soft P.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are two different terms.
There you go. Well, Jester, please do excuse me. I mean, Jester, if you're about and you're in the chat, so if you're not streaming it elsewhere or pelter is to hit, well, fair play. See, my English is not my first language, but Jester, if you're about and you want to hop on, you can also hop back off once it's done before we get other people on if you want to. But you can't pop on, so either text me on the Twitter or just put it in the chat and I'll send you a link. Pice just said he might come on earlier, so I need to send out some links. So let me actually get to that. They're just currently explaining how the draw works. Yes, boys, we've not watched this. We're not watching this for the first time. I mean, I understand there are some people that might watch it for the first time, but realistically, how many people that are freshly into football are watching the draw? And how many people that are not freshly into football don't already know how the draw works? Do you know what I mean?
And I'm pretty sure after all these years, we've grasped the concept of how this works. We're not stupid.
Exactly. And if there's any children watching that might just be too young to have known how it works before, well, I'm sure they're watching it with like a parent or a sibling or someone that knows instead of them and can just explain it. Do you know what I mean?
Or if they're watching, if there's children watching it alone, they just change the channel and go watch something more to their age because this isn't it.
Well, you never know. Maybe there's some 6-year-old Chelsea fan who wants to know who we're going to play against.
Well, then tell him educate himself because we don't need this shit just before a draw. We want to get to the good bits.
That is a fair point. Now, Aaron, before they actually get things underway, why don't we for a second start talking about, I'll get this back up on screen, start talking about the Aubameyang situation. Now, I feel like the transfer rumors are changing on a daily basis. That's where 3 days ago, the situation was, it's very close. Then I didn't realize that it was actually said it's not that close yet. Then we were talking about it on stream, and I was like, okay, I thought it was closer than that, apparently. Then Barcelona and Man City play a friendly. Aubameyang scores, but then as he subbed off, gives it a little wave, almost as if it's like a goodbye. And then straight after, or today, I can't remember, flew to Paris, or to France at least, and apparently, according to Jerome Romero, of course, this summer, pretty reliable Barcelona journalist, they said, it's basically getting ever closer. So, what do you make of this? I can't remember, Aaron. I'm sorry. I do a lot of streams, talk to a lot of different people. I can never remember who I asked what. But now I'm not. If I've asked you about Aubameyang before, share whatever we spoke about then again, I suppose. But also, if we have spoken about it before, has it changed? Has your opinion changed, or is it still all the same? He scored a decent goal yesterday, to be fair to him.
I mean, he did score a decent goal, but the goalkeeping was shocking. So we do have to take that into account. But no, we have. On previous streams, we have discussed sort of Aubameyang, and I've not always been as warm to the idea as many others have. But I think after seeing that performance on Sunday that we don't need to speak about anymore, that thumping, I think it sort of highlighted to me that there is a lot more issues than I had originally anticipated. So I personally I'm starting to warm to it a little bit more. I'm not going to say like I'm fully on board, but I'm starting to get there a little bit. I think I just still have that apprehensive nature about me when it comes to seeing his latter stages at Arsenal, sort of before he was dropped and whatever, sort of that form that he was displaying, and just thinking if we bring in another striker and God forbid he takes that number 9 shirt because it's vacant and it just all goes to shit, then we'll look like we've just got a load of egg on our face and it'll just blow up in front of us. But yeah, I'm sort of warming to it a little bit more, but I mean, the only way you're going to really know if it's
successful... I guess you're warming to it because of each game that our forwards don't do nothing.
I'm just going to interrupt you. The draw is happening now.
the draw is happening, but obviously the first round of it means nothing at all because it's just putting the teams from top one into groups.
Just make it known.
It's so pointless.
Yeah, we just make it known so that we will react as and when it happens.
Yes. You know what? Let's react to the first one properly, and the rest we'll just let go through until we get to the second part. But the first ball being pulled from this little pot by Yaya Toure himself is Ajax Amsterdam. Brilliant. So does that mean Ajax Amsterdam are in Group A, or do they pick another ball to put them in a group?
Yeah, your stream's a little bit behind to mine, so I'll stay silent for this.
It's all good. It's all good. If something crazy happens, you can just shout if you want. There's some more chat about belters and pelters here in the chat. A belter is one big hit. I think pelter means belter in the US. That'd be interesting. Belter chat is more interesting than this UEFA draw. See, you're right, Neil. You're not wrong.
You've got a good point.
There you go. Now FC Porto has been drawn for Group B. But hey, Yaya picked those balls a little bit quicker. You don't have to be the Chelsea, I was going to say midfield, but it's not even a midfield. It's the defense and midfield and wing backs. Just they always pass everything way too close.
Well, he is part of the Spurs staff now, isn't he? So I just hate him.
Yeah, that is very true. It's very true. But yeah, on the Aubameyang thing, obviously, to some extent, the more our forwards don't do nothing, the more frustrating it will get. Who scored our first goal against Spurs? Can you remember?
Against Spurs, the first one, Koulibaly.
So we've scored in the league so far. How many did we? 3 goals.
3 goals,
one
midfielder, 2 defenders.
One of which has been by Koulibaly, and the last one has been a Jorginho penalty. And obviously, we didn't score against Leeds. So when you think of it that way, any striker is useful. But at the same time, my problem with it is that at the moment, I'll be perfectly honest, and I've said this before, I don't think, or I'm not confident, shall I say, about any new attacker, new signing, that they would work any better than what we have right now. So that's why I'm like, unless it's even Ronaldo. Ronaldo's probably one of the few where I'd be the most confident that he'd still get goals at least. Even though I think he would make us worse as a team, but at the same time, we're so bad at a team, how much worse can we be at the moment? Do you know what I mean? So at that point, just bring Ronaldo. But anyone that's not Ronaldo, I'm not sure that they'd score. If I'm honest, not
yeah, because like when you,
I wouldn't even be sure if Harry Kane would score goals with Chelsea. Do you know what I mean?
It's the way that we play. You don't see any sort of indication that any striker other than the very best will come in and even do much. So I was in that minority in one of your polls where it was like, oh, would you rather Ronaldo or Aubameyang? And Aubameyang done it by about 70%, 30% or something. So I was in the minority saying Ronaldo, but I still firmly believe that Ronaldo would be a lot more beneficial to have in the squad than Aubameyang, albeit he comes with his separate issues and whatnot. But just in terms of goal scoring and what we need for somebody...
I think that's let's focus on that point for a second, because now people always talk about what a bad influence Ronaldo could be and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he could be for sure. And he's too big of a guy to ever get suspended. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has had a big tendency of getting fines and suspensions from the club and being told off by the club and not turning up to training, flying to all sorts of places in the world instead of turning up to training. I mean, I know Thomas Tuchel has worked with him before, and he said in an interview as well, if there's 1 or 2 players that every now and again are late, it's not a big deal. I'm like, okay. But see, I feel like there's even more risk of, maybe not more, but the same amount of risk of toxicity problems by signing Aubameyang as there would be with Ronaldo, but then I'm more confident with Ronaldo's guy scoring goals. That's why I'm like, surely if that's our limited, desperate options, Ronaldo and Aubameyang, no one better than both. Then, like you, I would probably rather pick Ronaldo, but it is what it is. I am Jester. Let me just read it out now. Cristiano Ronaldo is reportedly on the verge of signing for Sporting Lisbon. The deal is 99% done. The club will begin presentation preparations tomorrow by court offside. Interesting. Let's see whether that turns out to be true. But we all know if we tried to, if we said actually we wouldn't mind Ronaldo, obviously Ronaldo would pick us over Sporting. As long as he loves Sporting, I think he would rather go back to Sporting in like a year or 2 or 3 time rather than now. But it swings roundabouts, I suppose. Pot 2. Are we actually doing pot 2 now? Are we not doing awards?
No, it's pot 2 now. They're literally just going through the little cameos of last season.
Yeah, I'm
whatever
seeing that. I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
But why? I swear last year, between pot 1 and pot 2, there was one set of awards. There was like the attacker awards. And then there was like between pot 2 and pot 3, there was like the midfielder awards. And then
Yeah, I
between
think they've just
pot 3
changed
and
the
pot 4,
format.
there was like the defender awards. And then at the end, there was like the overall player of the year awards. So
I mean,
but,
I don't mind because then we don't have to sit here and watch that bag of shit. But it's better for
Very
us
true.
to just get the draw done and then we can react to it rather than having to sit there and go through all these awards. Because none of us are winning it, so it don't matter.
Exactly. I'm just trying to text Pies. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Please bear with me for just a moment. And also texting your expert that I have sent him the link. Link sent. So I'm just going to tell them all. They will probably know what I'm talking about then. But yeah,
the balls are being spun.
Balls are being spun. Let's get it back up on screen, why don't we? To actually see who the pot could be. Now, see what I would always love about these Champions League draws, and then what we see is if there was like a live thing, like a live graphic thing somewhere that I could show on screen where they're like, okay, these are all the groups already. Then they add everything to it rather than, but all in one graphic that keeps changing rather than always adding a new bit for one. Do you know what I mean?
I hate it when we're doing pot 2 and we just have to keep patiently waiting for Chelsea to come out. It's a pain in the ass. Because the first one out is Leipzig, so we've still got a little bit of waiting to do yet.
But are they now drawing the group, or is this automatically group A?
No, so they draw the team from pot 2, and then once they've drawn the team, they spin the balls for what group they go into.
Exactly that. And apparently, judging by the graphic on screen, they can only be from group E to F. For whatever reason, I'm not quite sure why that is the case, but I'm sure they figured it out. Although, remember, was it last year, the round of 16 draw last year? Remember that they had to do it twice because they screwed it up first time.
They screwed it up and we still got the exact same draw, so we were all right.
Exactly. Well, we did, yeah. Not everyone did, but we did, yeah. Group F. So who's that? I can't remember who Group F is.
It's one of the bigger teams, I think.
Real Madrid and RB Leipzig. Well,
yeah.
Unlucky Timo. Unlucky.
Oh, he done it last year against Madrid. He'll do it again.
It is true. And they'll probably lose 5-1. But,
Yeah. Next out is Juventus. And they can only go in G or H. So that's either City or... I can't see who that is on the end.
Me neither.
Yeah, the quality is a bit shit.
PSG is H.
Ah, that's it. So Man City or PSG.
There you go. See, I'm not 100% convinced why that is the case. Why wouldn't Juve be allowed to play against the others? Obviously not against AC Milan, but why not the others? Not really sure.
I don't know. I thought they only done it. They don't let teams from the same country in the same group. I don't know why they've
exactly.
Out
I think maybe the reason is Group H. So that is
PSG.
There you go. Juve PSG is a fairly big one, but obviously Juve these days are not what they used to be, shall we say. It's going to be interesting how PSG doing the Champions League this year as well when you think about it.
I mean, their squad has got a hell of a lot better this year.
So how do I... Okay. I will try to copy what you sent me here.
Oh, here we go. Tottenham are next.
Tottenham... None of the teams we would like to be drawn against are gone yet, are they? So
no. Well, hopefully Tottenham get like a really hard team. Give them Bayern Munich. Go on. Give them Bayern. Don't give them Frankfurt. Give them Bayern.
Which one is it gonna be?
Oh, for fuck's sake, they got Frankfurt. Fuck off.
Lucky bastards.
Fucking cunt. Yeah. Frankfurt and Tottenham.
That is annoying. For going... Oh, no. Did that already work?
Draw Chelsea.
I hate sometimes with websites. Actually, the UEFA website cannot handle the fact that it's currently the Champions League draw and their website is so slow. It's crazy.
Liverpool are next. So they can only get Ajax, Bayern, or Porto.
Ajax, Bayern.
Give them Bayern. Give them Bayern. Go on. Mane is gonna.
That would be funny. That would be funny if they got Bayern.
I'd love a bit of that.
Don't
So
like
we
it would
just
be
need
so typical
Group
Liverpool
B.
if they got Ajax or Porto now.
Yeah, or it'll be City like to get the easiest group you can ever imagine. Come on, for fuck's sake, they got Ajax.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
Just hate seeing their smug faces sat there.
See, the problem, Jester, with this link that you sent me here is that on this website, I have this auto live stream by UEFA, which I obviously cannot show on screen because otherwise I get copyrighted. So what if I can't get rid of this video somehow, then I can't show this screen. I found a way. So we'll show something different on screen, which actually shows us the up-to-date groups, which is much more useful. And then we can actually focus. Who's been drawn?
Sevilla. And next.
Sevilla. Still not us. How long is it going to take until we're drawn? For flips.
I think if so, Sevilla get drawn to one of the red groups, and then the leftover is Chelsea's, I believe. I don't know how it works. Kind of confused.
I'm not sure either. I'm just trying to not have this thing on screen.
Yeah, block that bit out.
Stop going there. Just stay up there, you stupid thing. I didn't ask for this. Why can I not exit out? I don't understand. Give me an X. Just stay there. Don't move. I'm fuming. No worries, Jess.
Okay, Sevilla have gone into Man City's group, so when we get drawn, it's either Bayern or Porto. Or Milan. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm confused.
Bayern is super close, but to me, where I live,
I just don't fancy a Bayern game.
About that one. I don't really want to be drawn against that. Can I not? Why? Just.
Oh my God! It's still not Chelsea. Can this eternal pain just end? Barcelona. They're either Bayern or Porto. Barca, Bayern. Go on. Make our lives easier. Go on.
Come on, please.
Do it. Come on. Group B. Go on. Son of a bitch. They got Porto, I believe.
Did they?
No, they got Bayern.
So we got Porto.
We've got either Milan or Porto. I don't know whether we're in the red one or the blue one. Confused.
Very good. I think I found a way so I can actually show this on screen, which is actually quite useful. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This took a little bit longer than it should have done. Now, let me see how I figured out once we get to actually, having more than two.
Here we are. It's Chelsea.
Well, not exactly surprising anymore at this point. But
no, there's still two teams. Trust us to have been lost, but we've been drawn now.
And wait! I thought we could only get Porto. We couldn't. We got Milan.
No, because there was one left in the red and the blue. I didn't know which way it was going, but they've stuck us in the blue, so we got AC Milan. That San Siro trip is looking likely now.
Come on, boys! Getting battered by Giroud. Can't wait. That's going to be well exciting. I don't know. You've bamboozled me here, Aaron. I'm telling you that much.
Mate, I'm just as confused as you. Don't worry.
It's all good. Well, there you go, AC Milan. I'll take it. If the day of when this takes place suits me, I'll most certainly try to make my way to the San Siro for the first time in my life. That should be quite fun. I mean, tomorrow.
This might be a good draw actually, because Tuchel watched Gordon and he wanted to sign him. If he watches Rafa Leao, he might just go and sign him.
The problem is, by the time we play Champions League, the transfer window is shut, bro.
It's all right next season or January. You never know.
Watch us sign Giroud next summer again,
Listen, at this point, I'll take it. At this point, I'm desperate.
Yeah, I mean, kind of true. But at that point, just do it, now. All right,
25 million
they're not
bid for
actually
Giroud
interrupting any of these things, which is fantastic news. Brilliant. When are they doing the awards? Are they even doing awards? Are they doing them after? If they're doing them after, they're stupid because no one's going to watch. But anyway, wouldn't be on the same side of the bracket as Spurs supporter wasn't an option.
That makes sense. Wait, but then we're the same side of the bracket as Man City and Liverpool, aren't we? So how does that make any sense?
Maybe it's to do with when games are played because they don't like two Champions League games in the same city on the same night. Maybe that's the reason.
Or I don't know if it's because there's 4 English teams, so they put 2 on one side, 2 on the other, something like that.
It could be. Whatever the reason is. Giroud masterclass incoming, Bakayoko masterclass incoming. Boys, all the masterclasses are incoming. It's a London thing. Is it a London thing? Okay. It might be a London thing, yeah. But then again, who knows? Also, who cares? Like, sure, would have Porto been a bit easier than AC Milan? Probably yes. But
the thing with Porto,
playing AC Milan and Porto, do you know what I mean?
The thing with Porto is we've been there, we've done that, we've conquered them. So that's not really we've already established that. So a bit of a challenge now would be nice.
Exactly that. We're starting the draw for pot 3. I do actually need to lower this thing a little bit here, don't I? Because otherwise, well, the problem is with this fucking thing. If I scroll down, now you can't see Frankfurt anymore, which is obviously
it's all right. We know Frankfurt are there, don't matter.
Well, but now I just see Tottenham. I mean, it's always bad.
Yeah, so cover up Tottenham bit as well. Yeah, that's fine. We don't need
see Tottenham they're not in the Champions League. What are you talking about? Napoli have been drawn, so they cannot be drawn against us because, of course, they can't be drawn with AC Milan, so can't be against us. Well, according to this, they can only be A to D for, again, whatever reason. But sure, I guess in H they have Juventus and in E they have Milan, but
so they're in Group A with Ajax and Liverpool.
How many times are Liverpool going to play Napoli? Do you know what I mean?
At least Salah can't pull down Koulibaly's pants now.
True. But see, this website by UEFA is way quicker than any of the streams, which on the one hand I rate, on the other hand it's obviously not ideal. So if I look at this screen, I see it way before I see it on my screen over here. So, you know, it's one of those, I suppose. It is one of those, yes. Liam Gumi tweeted Tomori. Yes, we are quite...
it's time for the Austrians.
We are most certainly playing against Tomori. What are you saying, sorry?
Time for the Austrians, FC Salzburg.
Come on, give me them.
Stick them with Barca and Bayern. Go on.
According to what's lit up, they can be drawn against us. They can be drawn against everyone because obviously they're an Austrian team and there's no other Austrian team involved. So
I think it'd be quite good if they've got Chelsea. That'd be good for you.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
Go on, give them Group E. Go on.
Come on.
Make
Not sure where I should look at the actual screen or down here.
Group E, they got Chelsea.
Oh, come on, boys!
This could not have got any better.
This is fantastic news. I'm not sure why.
You can stick yourself in the Salzburg end with a Chelsea shirt on.
Nope. I'm not going to the Salzburg end. I don't want to be there. That is scum everywhere. Yeah, big fan. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm going to make both away games, but it allows me to pick between 2, I suppose, depending on if I'm not available. But yeah,
you know, you like the London one more.
The London one?
Yeah, coming to Chelsea away, coming here instead of watching it in Austria.
See, but I like the away end thing because away ends are much more fun than home ends, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true, but you get to come to the bridge again, so.
Exactly. I mean, I will also tell you we're getting absolutely battered by Salzburg because they play like Leeds, just better. So that's going to be fun. Go on now. Pick up yourself, Lewis. Come on, my G. Hope you're well, bro. Hope you're well.
Have you come off his screen?
If you are popping about, I'll see you all in my ends.
That would be one crazy away day.
Benfica with PSG and Juve. Have I seen that correct? Yes.
Yes.
That Ajax, Napoli, Liverpool group will be a friendly affair, will it?
I don't know about that.
It's going to be a fun group in terms of football, I reckon. Although I don't even know who Napoli's manager is these days. It's not Gattuso anymore. He's where? Valencia or something now?
Yeah, Gattuso's at Valencia now.
Exactly. So I'm not really sure what style of football Napoli play these days. They were fun and enjoyable to watch on the Sarri, but Sarri's long gone, so.
Dortmund
with Man City and Sevilla. So Dortmund are again not making the group stages. Brilliant. But Haaland versus Dortmund actually is quite fun.
He gets to get knocked out by his old team.
He does. Well, unlikely. He's probably going to score 7 goals in one game against them, but you know, considering they conceded 3 goals in 6 minutes against a promoted team in the Bundesliga, and we have Leverkusen with Porto and Atletico. So at least Callum is going back to Porto.
That's not a half-bad group either.
It's not a half-bad group, but it's also a bit dead. I mean, it's exciting because none of them are amazing. But the problem is with Atletico, you never really know. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. You're never really too sure. We are joined by a new, wonderful, fantastic guest who has hopefully had his knee looked at, and it's good.
It's not good, but I'm here.
It's not good. But have you seen the draw, mate? Have you seen?
You must be buzzing. You must be.
I am buzzing. 4 hours that way to Milan, 2 hours the other way to Salzburg. I'm hopping in the car. Off we go. I'm well buzzing.
I tell you, mate, if I can get a cheap EasyJet flight, I'll be coming out with you.
Exactly that. You should.
I've always wanted to go to Innsbruck.
Well, but you can also fly EasyJet to just Salzburg, so that saves yourself the trip from here to Salzburg. So.
No, I want to have a look around your gaff. That's what I want to do.
All right. And then you hop in the car with us. Why not?
Yeah, it's all good. Let's do it.
I just hope it's not in the week where I'm going on holiday. That would not be.
It would be poetic justice. It would be hilarious.
We've not booked nothing, so we'll see.
Yeah, we haven't booked anything. Sorry, Melinda, we're not going away.
Sorry, especially because when we're going on holidays to Switzerland, so she'll be fuming if I say, "No, I'm going to Salzburg."
Yeah, stop that, mate. I'm going up the road. Is she watching right now? Because you could just say you're going for a lovely weekend, romantic break in Milan, and then
the Milan one is a different one, but I don't even know when the exact dates of when we play who will come out. So that's the problem.
It's normally next couple of days, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe even tonight, I feel like sometimes it's later in the day. But usually these draws aren't they usually at midday, and today all of a sudden it's in the evening. Like that was the first thing that confused me.
Then the Milan with Bayern and Barcelona, by the way, that's going to be crazy.
That is a good group. That's a good group. Lukaku out in the group stages again. Can't wait. Brilliant. Fantastic.
Things you love to see.
Spurs to face Ronaldo. How's that possible? Against Sporting. There you go. Can you see everything on screen, Ian? Frankfurt.
I can't stick around for long because I have got to run around and do something, but I'm just trying to keep myself in the loop.
Running around with that leg, I don't know about that.
Well, walking very slowly.
There you go.
That is a great group
you're
for us.
Coming to. It's just unfortunate if it's the week we wanted to go to Switzerland instead. That is unfortunate. But we need to hope. Well, hopefully it's just not. Hopefully it's just not that week. Now, does anyone actually know? Will we play all of the group stage games before
the World Cup? Yes. It's all before the World Cup.
That fixture congestion is going to be crazy.
That's why we're only playing the third cup round where we were drawn against City last night in November. That's why usually it's like in September, that third Carabao Cup round.
Yeah, I think this year they're doing. I think it's pretty much every week is Champions League, bar like 2 or 3. That's it.
That's crazy. No breaks, Laurenz. Yeah, there you go.
It's something like that.
Yeah, there you go. It's gonna be an interesting one, but certainly a few interesting groups so far. Let's go through them while we wait for them to actually start doing the pot 4. Group A, Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli. What do you reckon, Ian?
That's Liverpool got away with murder there. Classic.
Yeah, typical. Yeah. Typical.
It's a good group for a neutral, but I ain't neutral.
I do agree. Well, maybe Hakim Ziyech turns up and
if he shrugs his shoulders at the cop, I would piss myself.
There you go. Brilliant. Group B are not group of death; they're group of dead because no one cares. Porto, Atletico, and Leverkusen. You'd expect Atletico to top that. They had a decent start to La Liga, but I don't really have much of an opinion or care about that group, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's.
But Group C is most certainly the group of death. Bayern, Barcelona, Inter. Ian, do you reckon Barcelona could be back to actually being a big team, or are they, get knocked out of the group stages again like last year?
So is that Barca, you say?
Bayern, Barca, Inter, yeah. Whether you reckon Barca can actually... I'd assume Bayern will top the group. I don't think Inter Milan
are that good. I don't think they're that good. They're still going to be something to force to be reckoned with in some capacity, but if Barca get this player situation sorted, I mean, they'll be absolutely fine. Bayern will still win that group 100%. That doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, no, I do agree. So, the draw for pot 4 has started. Celtic is the first team to be drawn. We could be drawn against Celtic.
Oh my God, give us Celtic, please.
Ian, question. Would you prefer Celtic or Rangers to be drawn against us?
Celtic can't be drawn in our group, I don't think.
But they're all lighting up on the screen I'm looking at.
Yeah, no, they can't.
I thought it only lit up A to D.
I think all of them were lighting. Just the one half are red, the other half are blinking blue. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it's only Rangers and Celtic have got to be on different sides of the draw. That's
yeah. But as this is the
they're with
first
Madrid.
one, now they got Madrid.
Yeah.
Well, Celtic fans will be buzzing, but
they
would you
will
have
be
preferred
buzzing.
Celtic or Rangers? Do you have a preference? Would you have had a preference?
I think actually would have preferred to play Celtic. I have to be honest. I think a lot of Chelsea fans will go, "Oh, let's have Rangers," but I think to be fair, I mean, Celtic when the fans when they want to go for it, big European nights, they are different. So I think I'd have gone Celtic. My preference anyway.
They are different for sure. To be honest, if in terms of getting an easy opponent, we'd probably like to avoid both in terms of
100%
opponents from pot 4. It's kind of those two and Marseille who you'd probably want to avoid. We could get Marseille now.
I tell you what, sorry, very quickly, that Celtic group, obviously Real Madrid is going to be the highlight, but a couple of very decent away days. Obviously not Donetsk now, unfortunately, but Leipzig would be very decent for them to go. They will take a lot of numbers over there. Timo Werner, rip them apart.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Fucking hell, Tottenham have got the easiest group by a country mile.
Where are Spurs? I can't even.
Wait,
they're
covered here on my screen. Wait, I'll show you. Frankfurt, Spurs, Sporting, Marseille.
Marseille are a decent side.
Marseille are a decent side, but
Spurs should still be beaten.
It's a very easy group.
Yeah. At least it means they can't go and win Europa.
That is true.
Yeah. Who else have we got in there?
Copenhagen have been drawn.
I'd take that all day long. Good fans. We played against them before, didn't we?
We have. It's a while ago, though, but I remember.
Yeah. Fair few years.
So let me just text my mate who works for Salzburg that I need help with tickets. I have to make sure we're the first ones in that ask.
I was just gonna say, I'm pretty sure about 3-4 years ago, you got all the fixtures for all of us before they came out. So loads of people booked flights.
It's true, actually. It's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was sure it was you.
Not the fixture. So we had the draw, but he got the kind of who played against who and stuff. What
and the dates exactly as well.
Was going to be.
Because wasn't that when we played Ajax?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, that was the one everyone wanted to go to, and everyone booked it pre-fixtures coming out.
There you go. What's the next team being drawn against here then?
Club Brugge.
Bruges.
Oh, Bruges is a great away day.
You take it. And they're also not that good. So
shit.
That would be a good draw from every angle, really. Why is Pice text me he might come on earlier? Now he's not here anyway. Chop, Pice. Chop.
Bruges is great for beer, chocolate, and lace. I mean, that is most men's absolute dream. That is.
You see, Belgium is one of those places that are much closer. Yeah. What a dead group. Porto, Atletico, Leverkusen, and Bruges.
That is naff.
The worst thing is that's a shit group, and it's still not the worst group of them all.
No, it's true. See, but Tottenham, Tottenham have an easy group, but that's because they're so much better than the other teams. All of these teams are not that good. Well, as I said this earlier, but with Atletico, you just never know. But now that they don't have Suarez anymore, I feel like don't really rate them so highly. Do you know what I mean? When Alvaro is your main striker, you can't be that good. Say again?
I said they'll still line up with 5 at the back and 5 in midfield anyway, so it don't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Rangers. This could be a good one.
Rangers. But they can't.
Give it us. Give it us.
They can't have us because we've got to be on the other half of the group.
Ah, shit.
No, it can be us because Celtic are in the other half.
Hang on, what?
No. Celtic are in this half, so...
Yeah, we're in our half.
Oh, they're with Liverpool, Ajax and Napoli. Oh, Stevie G.
That's quite a good group, actually. Forget Liverpool, because they'll easily win it, but that's quite a good group. You could see Rangers surprising Napoli or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting. that second spot is totally up for grabs. Like, I would be surprised if Rangers got second, let's say, but I could see it for all of them to come second, third, or fourth, depending on if they
could you
have a
imagine
good or bad run.
they won't get second, but could you imagine Rangers just in their own little kind of, personal mission? Imagine if they did get third and that they actually were the team that knocked out Napoli or Ajax. That would be like little just personal gain or whatever, personal little memento, I suppose.
Exactly.
That would be good.
Dinamo Zagreb have been drawn, and they could be drawn against us. So let's see if that happens or not.
Another fantastic away day.
It's quite good, to be fair. I've never been to Zagreb. I've been to Croatia, but I've not been to Zagreb.
And they have been drawn against us.
Have they?
Have they?
Yes.
Hey, it's not too bad, Milan, Salzburg, Zagreb. I think we got away with one there. Considering what we could have got.
Easy.
Take that all day.
Yeah. I mean, with our form, we might come second behind Milan, but you would expect us to come at least second. Although Salzburg are always dangerous, like I just said, they kind of play a little bit like Leeds, and you know what happened there last Sunday. So,
say that team again.
Which one?
The team that we got from pot 1.
AC Milan.
Oh, Milan. Oh, get you, Milan.
How would you say
Milan?
Milan.
Okay,
Milan. Ooh.
Well, I would just say Milan, but that's
Milan. Oh, that's even better. I like that.
Milan.
You lost.
But yeah, I quite fancy. I hope I can manage to get to both. That would be the ideal, because I've never been to San Siro, so I'd be quite a big fan of that.
Yeah, it'll be on my that'll be on my bucket list of places to go.
For sure. Hopefully your knee is good by then.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's not.
Yeah, probably not.
But to be fair, they were meant to be knocking down the San Siro like 3 years ago, and
exactly. I think they're in the process of building the new stadium, but obviously until that's built, they're playing in San Siro still.
Yeah. Do you remember that weird? There was that weird stat going around when they officially announced that they were going to knock down the San Siro and rebuild it and whatever. The last team to play a Champions League game, had it have all gone to plan, the last team to play a Champions League game at San Siro would have been Atalanta.
True, actually, yeah, because their stadium at the time didn't fulfill the UEFA requirements.
Yeah.
Just to fill you guys in, Maccabi Haifa have been drawn with PSG, Juve, and Benfica, and now Victoria Pilsen from the Czech Republic have been drawn against Bayern, Barcelona, and Inter. Unlucky, Victoria, unlucky.
Good luck.
Poor fuckers.
They've had a bit of a stinker, but yeah, that's it. I mean, I can't show you all of it at once because of this stupid little play thing, but that I can't get rid of, unfortunately. But yes, Group A, Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, Rangers. Group B, Porto, Atletico, Leverkusen, and Club Brugge. Group C, the group of death, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Inter Milan. See, now I wouldn't say it with Milan, actually. It's with Inter. Sorry. It's kind of different. In German, AC Milan is still AC Milan, but Inter are Inter Mailand in German. Anyway. There you go.
He's whipping them all out today, isn't he?
I'll have a look.
See, I'm teaching you so many things that you will never need to know. Group D, Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting, and Marseille. Imagine you're Tottenham and you get Frankfurt from pot 1. Like, what a lucky bunch of kids. Like, I know we got Milan, but still, at least they won their league, actually. Do you know what I mean? But then Group B, our group, like I said 100 times now, Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg, and Dinamo Zagreb. Group F, Real Madrid, RB Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Celtic. So that's an interesting one as well, I would say. Group G, Man City, Sevilla, Dortmund, and Copenhagen. And Group H, Paris, Juventus, Benfica, and Maccabi Haifa.
That's a good group at the end, actually. Because as much as PSG will win that group hands down, Juve and Benfica, they could have a bit of a scrap,
They could. It's always difficult to judge Benfica at the start of the season, I feel like. They could have a really good season and challenge like the bigger teams, or they could have a season where they're nowhere. Like, you just never know in advance. Yeah.
If they give it a bit, to be fair, Benfica, they could that could be very tasty.
Most definitely. Pice should be joining us in about 5 minutes. Ian, of course, I know you only popped in for a minute if you need to go.
I'm going to say I am going to go because I need to ice my leg after they moved it in all sorts of positions I didn't want it in.
Oh, yeah, that's not ideal. Okay, yeah. You go ice your leg, mate. Appreciate you very much for popping in. And maybe if if the gods align, maybe I'll see you in Salzburg going down.
I swear to God, if somehow by some miracle this game ends up being that first week of November, I'm coming.
What's first week of November? What are you doing then?
Nothing's going on, which is why I'm completely free. This knee is not going to be sorted before then. As late as possible, I will be there.
Brilliant. Fantastic. All right, mate. Well,
take care, guys. Make sure you subscribe as well. Make sure you subscribe.
Cheers.
How far away are we, Loz?
No, we've hit it. We've hit it the other day. 15K are done.
Get in. Have it. Super. Right, we'll get to 16 then.
16, 20, 50, whatever.
Whatever it is. Make sure we subscribe, and I'm going to go and put some ice on my name.
Exactly. Brilliant. Cheers. Fantastic. Well, Aaron, sorry that I didn't involve you as much while Ian was here, but I knew he was only going to be here for a couple of minutes. What do you reckon? Good. Quite good in the end, eh? For us, before we talk about other groups?
We take those all day. This just reminds me of 2 years ago when we had the draw and we could have got anyone and then we ended up getting Porto. And I remember being at work and I was at my desk with no one else in the room and I jumped up and celebrated like a madman. This is what that feels like. That group, we take that all day, every day. I don't see any realm of possibility where we do not make it out of that group and where we don't top it. So I'm chuffed with that. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'll take it as well. Have I added you already, Pice? I think I have. Pice, thank you for being here. That went pretty well, didn't it? Would you say?
Yeah, it went reasonably well. I'll take it. What I will say is they're tough away games. Definitely tough away games. I mean, San Siro, I think Zagreb smashed Tottenham a couple of seasons ago. And then obviously you've got Salzburg, who I don't really know too much about, but they've still got the striker Sesko. So, yes. Yeah, I mean, you'll know they're Austrian, so how good are they?
Well, that's the problem with Salzburg. You never know at the start of the season because obviously they still always lose some players. Like, for example, they lost Adeyemi now and they lost a couple of others as well. So you'll always have to, with Salzburg, you always have to wait a few weeks into the season to actually know how good they are this season, if that makes sense. But, I mean, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. But like you say, San Siro is still difficult, but Milan are still a Serie A team. Do you know what I mean? So, like, we should, if our form hits any sort of normal levels again, we should be there or thereabouts to like get ourselves a result. Salzburg, I mean, they play a bit like Leeds, so judging after last week, and that's going to be difficult just from that perspective. And yeah, Zagreb, I guess, in terms of away days, could be difficult, but I've also seen them have right stinkers even at home. So certainly could have been more difficult. Do you know what I mean? But what about the other groups, Pice? What do you reckon? Group C is certainly a group of death. Lukaku getting knocked out in the group stages again is quite fun.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at Group C and I'm thinking, well, either Lukaku's going out or Barca are going out, so I'm happy there.
Yeah.
I think, Real Madrid, easy group, they'll go through. City, Sevilla are not what they were. Dortmund, yeah, I think Harden will probably have a little revenge story there going back. I mean, you know what, actually, I think the most underrated group there is Group A, actually. I think with Liverpool's form, if they don't sort that out, they could be in for a right hiding in some of those games. Ajax and Napoli away, even Rangers, I mean, beatable teams, obviously, for Liverpool. I just think with the way, I know it's not obviously not yet, but the way they've been playing, man, like, I don't know, Napoli have got a good record against them at home, at least. I think the other groups, I mean, I'm glad we missed out on Paris, PSG. But yeah, obviously the big one there is Group C. Not the most exciting of groups, to be fair. And I mean, with AC Milan, I think, you know, who else would you really want? I think probably Ajax, probably just because they're a bit. I don't think they're as good defensively, but maybe
Ajax
Porto.
And Frankfurt, who are covered here. But
oh yeah, Frankfurt. Yeah, I forgot about. I was going to say Spurs got the easiest group I've ever seen in my life. Like, what is that? So lucky.
They really did. But yeah, no, like I said, that's what I mean by saying we certainly got away with it. As much as it's not easy, but Ajax, Porto, Frankfurt were probably the three that might have been easier than Milan, but certainly easier than it would have been against Real Madrid or PSG or Bayern. So, you know, not too bad. Not too bad. You know, why don't we? I mean, I'll go through it. Your expert should join us at some point very soon as well. But why don't we go through it for now, just as a little bit of fun? Go through the groups and predict who we think will go through the group. Maybe, if I remember, by the time we get to the round of 16 draw, we can look back at this when we're sat here again after the stream, thinking to ourselves, why are Uefa waffling so much? And Ancelotti won, by the way, Coach of the Year. Big up, Carlo. Unlucky Pep, bald fraud. But why don't we just go through and pick our predictions as to who will top the group, just for a bit of fun, rather than going from A to H. Just go from H to A. So let's start with Group H. PSG, Juventus, Benfica, and Maccabi Haifa. What do you reckon? You know what? Let's not even just pick the two to go through. Let's pick the order 1 to 4. Pies. What do you reckon? How's that group?
What group is this? What group?
Group H, the last one. If you look at the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Probably in order of that. To be fair, I reckon
probably will be. Yeah.
PSG, Juve, Benfica, and Haifa. Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe Benfica second if they pull something off, but I don't think they're as good as Juve.
Me neither. Aaron, would you agree?
Yeah, the exact same order is shown right now.
Yeah, I would probably agree as well. Unfortunately, it's not too much of a, prediction going on here, if I'm honest. Next one, Group G. Man City, Sevilla, Dortmund, and Copenhagen. It's a tough one because Man City will top the group. Copenhagen will come last. It's just a question of do Sevilla or Dortmund get second? See, Sevilla will want to come third anyway. It's just that they can win the Europa League again. So that's why I'm going to say Dortmund second, Sevilla third. Because Dortmund last season didn't make it out of the group and then got knocked out in the round of 32, actually, in the Europa League. So I reckon this year, even though they look like they're awful, I feel like by the time we get to the next few weeks, by match day 2 or 3 of the Champions League, I think they will have sorted themselves out a bit more. They will be better. So I reckon Dortmund second. Aaron, would you think Dortmund or Sevilla second? I assume you'd agree with City and Copenhagen.
No, I reckon Copenhagen first, City fourth. No, I'm joking.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I reckon it's literally just the Dortmund and Sevilla swap places there.
There you go. Fair play. Pice then. What's the order in that one? What do you think?
I agree. I think it'd be City, Dortmund, Sevilla, Copenhagen. I think. I just don't think Sevilla aren't as good anymore. I think they've lost Koundé. Yeah, I don't know. I think that'll actually be quite an interesting game, Sevilla and Dortmund. But I think Dortmund might just pip it. It'll be close though, I think. Because Dortmund defensively aren't great, and Sevilla, I don't know. Yeah, it'll be close, but I think I'm going to go for Dortmund.
It might even end up a situation of goal difference where Sevilla and Dortmund draw each other home and away, and then it's about who loses by more to City and who beats Copenhagen by more. So then now that I think of that, then I think actually Sevilla might come second. If it goes that way, because Dortmund will concede more than Sevilla will, I reckon anyway. Because Emery just doesn't concede a lot of goals. That's just not him. Wait, or is he a Villarreal at the moment? Am I mixing it up now?
He's a Villarreal.
He's a Villarreal, not Sevilla anymore, of course. Who's the Sevilla manager? Lopetegui, the guy that was Real Madrid manager for about 4 months.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's him. All right, Group F then. Pies, where do I stick with you? Real Madrid, Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Celtic. I think it could be a bit of an upset here. What do you reckon, Pies?
I'm not going to act like I know too much about these teams, to be fair. Obviously, Leipzig... You might go for them for second, but yeah, I do agree. This might be an upset one. I could see. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know too much about Shakhtar or Celtic, to be fair. Really tough one to
it
call.
is a tough one. I feel like, Aaron mentioned it earlier. Shakhtar obviously lost a lot of their players now with the war that's going on. A lot of their players were allowed to terminate contracts and left. Without them even getting a transfer fee, so being able to directly replace them. So even though the Ukrainian league actually started this midweek, I think on the 23rd, they had the first game again, which is crazy. But
mate, that's why I didn't want someone like Shakhtar, because like in terms of our away games, yeah, they're difficult venues, but I don't think they're like necessarily like Austria and Croatia are not that far from London.
Yeah,
so,
and obviously neither is Italy.
Yeah, I don't want to go to like Ukraine. I don't know what I was looking at. Yeah. Group C, Pilsen, I think. I don't know where the hell they're from, but
it's Czech Republic. That wouldn't be too bad.
Oh, obviously. Okay. I thought they were from like Uzbekistan or something, and I was like,
no.
God.
But Group H, Maccabi Haifa from Israel, that would be quite well. It's not super far, but
Israel. Yeah, I just don't anywhere like that, because you remember our like predicted running or something like that. When we was looking at the other day, it was like, oh my days, if we have like a long ass away trip. We got exactly. Arsenal and Brighton away and Newcastle away. I'm like, no thanks. But yeah, luckily we got quite lucky, I'd say.
I would say so. See, I reckon it could be an upset and Celtic could come second, yeah?
Wow.
Now, do I know that much about Celtic at the moment? No. What I know is they beat Rangers to the league last season. And I know that Celtic usually have a good European home record. So if they nick wins at home, I remember many years ago, I feel like it was maybe 2011, 2012, something like that, when they beat Barcelona like 2-1 with like 14% possession or something. And that was just the most hilarious thing. Like, I think Barca just had so much of the ball, even so many chances, but they just could not score to save their lives. I reckon, why not? Just to make it a bit interesting. I reckon Madrid first, Celtic second, Leipzig third, and unfortunately Shakhtar fourth. Aaron, do you think an upset could be on the cards, or do you just think Timo?
No, I think it's just I think it's a bit too much. I think it'll be Madrid, Leipzig, and then I think Celtic third and Shakhtar finish bottom. But I reckon it'll be close between Celtic and Leipzig, a lot closer than people might expect. But I just can't see enough there for there to be an upset, unfortunately. I think if this was Rangers instead of Celtic, this would be a very different conversation.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm not sure about because, like I say, Celtic won the league last season, not Rangers. So
I know, but when you see Rangers in terms of European-wise, how they perform there, they are pretty decent.
That is true. Even the fact with how they qualified yesterday against PSV, it's very impressive. Or was it on Tuesday, whenever it was? Well done to them anyways. Pice, did you in the end give an order on that one, or would you agree with Aaron potentially?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I mean, my gut instinct is probably Real Madrid, Leipzig. I'm going to go Celtic, then Shakhtar. But I mean, I don't know. I think because of what you said about Shakhtar losing players, I realised they lost their best winger to Fulham as well. So, yeah, I think they're probably going to come last, and it will be Leipzig or Celtic in second.
Yeah, I would probably. Well, yeah, like I said, Celtic second, but in terms of Shakhtar coming last, I would probably have to agree, unfortunately, for them. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe and smash that like button. Group E, Chelsea's group. Do we all think we're going to top the group? Pies, what do you think? Are we going to top that group?
I'd think so. Yeah, I'd think so. I think we can win both games against Milan. I think we may draw away, but I think we'll beat them at home. Which is ironic because usually we're better away. But I feel like with the San Siro, like that's quite a hard place to win. And they were good against Liverpool last season, to be fair. And I mean, Salzburg and Zagreb, I don't know anything about them, but I expect us to beat them, to be honest. I was just looking at their teams and I don't really know any of their players. I mean, Zagreb have that winger called Orsic who scored a hat-trick against Spurs, I think, a couple of years ago in the Champions League. But other than that, I mean,
I think that might have been Conference League, that one.
It might have even been, yeah. It might have been. All I know is they beat them like 4-1 or something, didn't they? I think they smashed Spurs one of the games. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this, actually, because I like some different away grounds, you know. I can't remember the last time we played Zagreb. Austria and Salzburg will be interesting. And obviously, how many years since we played at the bloody San Siro? So that's I can't wait for the AC Milan.
I mean,
the AC Milan away game will be brilliant. I think that'll be really good.
We all know about someone that's got a fucking great goal at the San Siro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm so looking forward to seeing Giroud and Tomori back. I mean, I love it when returns happen. I mean, I love Giroud, man. I can't wait to see him back,
mate. Well, let's just hope we don't get battered by Giroud and Tomori. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope we don't get dunked on.
One positive, judging by the fact that Thomas Tuchel loves Anthony Gordon after playing Everton, maybe there's a January move for Rafael Leao on the cards.
I said on my Twitter, I was like, cheeky meeting between Boehly and Leao after the game, then, or what? Like little tap up sesh, hopefully.
There you go. Let me actually, before I ask you boys about our group, and then we'll get back to and let Alex do the last three that we've done already in a minute. We are joined by Euro expert himself. And what a better day to have Euro expert involved than the draw of the UEFA Cup, the Champions League. I couldn't really think of what I was trying to say. Champions League, European teams, basically, is what I was trying to get at. First of all, Alex, thank you for giving us your time. I know you just got home, so I appreciate it very, very much. I'm not sure if you even saw the complete draw so far, but we're actually currently, shocker, but we're going through it one by one, and we happen to be on Chelsea's group. So, do you think Chelsea will win their group? Or what order do you think the Chelsea group of Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg, and Dinamo Zagreb will end?
I'm reading the groups for the first time, so everyone watching is getting my live reaction, which I think is a privilege. Looking at Chelsea's group, I think you will go through. No surprises there. It would have been funny if I said you won. I think that's an easier group than it even looks, to be fair as well. Milan are a tough team. Salzburg, you might have touched on it. I mean, you're from Austria yourself, Laurenz, but you probably will. Salzburg aren't even top of the table in Austria at the moment. They're suffering a bit. I think they've had a bit of a talent drive. I've been watching them this season, keeping an eye on them. They've got a couple players that might hurt you, but really across the board, it's barely Champions League level. Dinamo Zagreb, they've ironically as well watched them.
I don't know that one.
Apparently, my Alexa thinks she knows about it. I watched Zagreb beat Hajduk Split about a week ago, which in English is basically their big team in Croatia. It's their main rival. I think they did demolish them like 4-1, but it wasn't like the best of games. And Zagreb are a team you might have seen a couple of years ago. They beat Tottenham in the Europa League quite hilariously. And that team was a lot better than it is now. That team had Lovro Meyer in it of Rennes that everyone's really getting a hype on at the moment. But they still have the maybe the most dangerous player in that group outside of Milan is Mislav Orsic, who I think did quite well with Croatia at the Euros and I think at the World Cup as well. That might have been a bit early for him, but yeah, he's definitely a Champions League.
I think he might be most famous for his FIFA cards, but sure.
Hey, look,
I'm not a FIFA player.
The best thing about that is he has to face Reece James at least, so you know.
There's always a positive. And yes, Charlie, group trip to Salzburg. Let's all get involved. We'll have a lovely little meetup.
I think Salzburg are like, they're not Champions League. They're like, what's below? You'd call it Anthony Gordon level, maybe?
Yeah, exactly that.
That was a low
I'd say
blow.
Anthony Gordon barely scrapes Conference League, but maybe that's just me. Do you know what I mean? Actually, I will get your thoughts on that before I let you go later, Alex. That would be very.
Oh, please do.
Yes, please do. I'll have a great time talking about that one. But yeah, I mean, the Salzburg one, I said this to the boys a minute ago. With Salzburg, every summer, because they lose a few players every summer, you need to give them a few weeks at the start of a new season because they always usually promote players then from their second team who are all good and talented young players. And then it takes them a few weeks to get going. And then by week 3, 4, 5, 6 of the Austrian Bundesliga, they usually start batching everyone and then they're going to run away with the league usually. They lost to Sturm Graz earlier in the year. That's why they're not top of the league at the moment. But yeah, I mean, Zagreb could be difficult for just because all these kind of Balkan games can be difficult as an away game. At home, I would be pretty confident we'd beat them. Although, who was it? Was it Pies that mentioned it? Our home record doesn't tend to be very good, so maybe not. But yeah, Milan, I'm just a bit scared about Giroud and Tomori, really. If I'm honest.
I think they're going to be focusing on the league. I think Serie A's got the tightest title race ahead of this season. And last season we watched them as well kind of really fall apart in the Champions League. I remember they got so badly demolished by Liverpool that I remember when I went onto the Liverpool channels to preview Inter Milan, they completely wrote it off because like we saw AC Milan and they were shite. So we will beat Inter quite easily. And they didn't as well.
Like one of the games, one of the legs was quite tight, and the other one was very clear. If I remember, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was the last leg. I don't think there was a big goal difference per se, but I think it's just Milan got totally dominated.
AC Milan, they in the group stage they lost 2-1 at home, but at Anfield they only lost 3-2. So they scored 2 at Anfield, which was quite good.
I can't remember which one. Do you know which one was the second leg? I'm gonna guess it was the first game you mentioned.
The second one was Milan at home. They lost 2-1.
Yeah, I think that's
Tomori actually scored in that game against Liverpool.
I think that's where...
Didn't Liverpool go 2-0 up and then it was kind of done and then Milan got a late consolation goal? Could that be?
No, Milan actually went 1-0 up.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, 28th minute. Then Salah and Origi scored. So
Flipping Origi. At least they don't have him anymore.
One to watch out for from Milan, Brahim Diaz. He had the craziest game I've seen in a while. On the opening day, I recommend you watch the highlights of it. Like, genuinely,
from Man City, isn't he?
Yes,
he
and
was
Madrid as well. Yeah. Every single thing Milan did on opening day. I think I can't remember how many goals they scored, but literally every attack went through him, and he was like, he looked like he'd been playing half a season when everyone else was on like first day of July. It was ridiculous. So I'd keep an eye on him from a Chelsea perspective.
Yeah, for sure. We need to. But let's hope we can top the group. Obviously, we just touched on that earlier that because of the World Cup, the schedule of the group stages is a lot tighter than usual. There's basically every midweek there's a Champions League game going on starting, well, the week after next. We're going to have Champions League football every week. So it's going to be, if we don't find our form soon, we could be in bigger trouble just for that reason than we usually would have been, just because usually it would have been a bit more spread out and would have given us a bit more time to find better form. But let's just hope, fingers crossed, that we will make sure that happens. But Pice, so Chelsea, Milan, Salzburg, Zagreb, would that be the order you'd predict?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe we finish second, but I honestly, I mean, if we get knocked out of this group, it'd be horrible. Like, I mean, I can't. When was the last time we got knocked out of the group stages? I cannot remember.
2012, after we won the Champions League.
Long time ago. So let's hope we don't slip up.
It is 10 years ago, though, so exactly.
Yeah, it's those home games. As long as you beat Salzburg, Zagreb, 6 points there. Even if we draw twice in Milan, that's 8 points. I think we'd be safe. First or second for me. I'll go first.
What's his name? Dubois on Twitter. Is he going to do a thread of this happened in 2013?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's like perfect for him because he's the biggest Giroud lover ever, and I'm a big Giroud lover. I love that guy, and I just,
Hey,
written in the
like
stars.
RD says, if we get knocked out, we just win the Europa League. Hey, it's better than no trophy. So gotta look at it that way. Aaron, would you go along with that, or do you potentially think Salzburg could come last rather than Zagreb?
No, I think it'll be Chelsea first. I think we win all 6 games. I'm gonna say it now. I think Milan second.
All 6 games,
All 6 games.
I'm going for it.
That is something.
I can feel it inside. There's just something just telling me we're winning all 6 games. So when we're done with the group stage, we'll come back here and you're all gonna say, "Okay, you were right." But beside the point, I think Chelsea first, Milan second, Salzburg third, and Zagreb fourth. But I can see Salzburg putting up a bit more of a fight than people might actually realize just looking at face value.
There you go. And Alex, if I pushed you for an order of the group, who do you see coming in which position?
Chelsea, Milan, Salzburg, Zagreb.
So you do also still see Salzburg ahead of Zagreb, yeah?
Yeah, okay. I think Zagreb were in the Europa League last year against West Ham, and I remember saying that was off the back of the Tottenham campaign. I told West Ham fans that Zagreb will be a really tough match, and it kind of got slaughtered by West Ham. So I really don't have much hope for them.
Yeah, if you get slaughtered by West Ham, you should get slaughtered by us. But then again, we can't attack, so who knows? Group D, the easiest group for one of the big teams, I would probably say. Maybe Liverpool with their group is easier, just because Liverpool obviously better than Tottenham in terms of. But yeah, I mean, Frankfurt, they certainly got very lucky with the team from pot 1, Spurs, Sporting. If Sporting have Ronaldo, if he does happen to go back there, then maybe that makes it a bit more difficult. And Marseille, now, Alex, I know you're an expert on Liga. I feel like, aren't they losing some big player right now to someone, Marseille? Milik. Is Milik just going to Juventus from Marseille right now? So how do you see them doing, and how do you see that whole group going, other than, I assume, Tottenham topping it?
I think without a group again, this is the first time I'm seeing it as well, because I think you took away the little.
Yeah, no, it finally went away. The Uefa website had this live stream of this that I couldn't click away, so it was always covering a part of the screen.
So what I'd sum up from those teams is that Frankfurt have had quite a poor start to the season. I'm not even sure they've won a game yet. They might have won one at the weekend, and they've lost a couple. Yeah, they lost a couple of players. Hinteregger, he's one who retired early due to the news that you should Google because it's interesting. They've got a couple of good players, Frankfurt, but they seem to be suffering sort of Europa League hangover a bit. Spurs, don't need to talk about Spurs too much, except they're probably in a better shape than Chelsea at the moment. I mean, they're not spending
probably, except when we played them, then we should have battered them. But Anthony Taylor has something to say about it, I guess.
Yeah, Anthony's. They seem to have a good connection to Chelsea.
Yeah, we love those Anthonys, mate.
I'm never letting that go.
Sporting, and you shouldn't either. You shouldn't.
Sporting, they have a winger that probably better value than Anthony Gordon and Pedro Goncalves. He started the season really good. He's a long shot merchant, but people called him the new Bruno because 2 seasons ago he hit 30 goals and assists, 24 goals and assists, I think it was. He died a bit off last year, but he seems to be back in form, so he'll be a fun player to keep an eye on. Marseille, it could be anything from absolute total car crash or winning the UCL. Basically, with Marseille,
Well,
they've got a new manager in called Igor
Who's the new
Tudor.
manager?
Igor Tudor came in from Hellas Verona. He's a little bit of a journeyman, but he's like 44. He plays really attacking tactics. Marseille made some decent signs. They've got Alexis Sanchez in. Nuno Tavares, he looks like a monster at left wing back. He's like first game of the season. He looked like Marcelo, like Roberto Carlos. It was crazy. But on the first game of the season, the fans before the game even started just started booing the manager because Sampaoli from last year left. So this is again Marseille sort of on a fine line. I think the last time
Marseille fans are just a bit weird, aren't they? They
yes,
always are.
And the last time they were in the Champions League, this is 20 when you guys won it. I think they got 1 point from 6, and they lost like 5 games. So that's a very tough group to call. It
is a tough group to call in terms of because obviously we touched on Frankfurt. They haven't won a game yet. They lost Kostic. They lost Hinteregger. They don't have Jovic. Jovic is not there anymore, is he? Because he was there on loan last season.
Nope, he's at Fiorentina.
There you go. So what do Frankfurt have at the moment? Because I swear they were constantly carried by Kostic last season, and now they don't have Kostic anymore.
They do have a good signing in Randall Kolo Muani. Came in from Nantes, like middling league side. You don't get many chances there, but Kolo Muani's still got like 10 goals for the last 2 years, each league season. Quite a silky footballer, quite a good striker. He's still quite young as well, so he'll be a good replacement. Keep an eye on him.
Just a quick one on that Hinteregger thing. I did Google his retirement, and it is quite interesting, as you said. Laurenz, you might need to have a look at that, mate.
No. I know. Obviously, I know. But it's quite funny. He actually went to what he decided to do. He retired from professional football. He now plays for his local team, which play like in the 5th or 6th division of Austrian football. And because he now plays for them, they are now the 5th highest valued club in all of Austria because his market value is 9 million euros. So that's because like Salzburg and Rapid Vienna and a couple are ahead of them, but they're now
that's amazing
6th division team or 5th division, whatever they are. It's now the 6th highest valued club in all of Austria because of him. And he's obviously a centre back. For them, he plays striker, which I find hilarious. That's quite good. Then you just see all his Insta stories, just like another win for whatever his club scored, and he's like, I scored another 7 goals. Brilliant. It's very funny. I must say Spurs, Marseille for the banter. See, how good do you reckon Sporting are, Alex?
It's tough. I mean,
they won the league
2 years ago, and they were
Porto.
Last year at Porto. Sporting, they're a bit like Marseille. They don't seem to be a good spot and sort of harmoniously. Their coach Ruben Amorim, who like you would have seen being linked with every job in the past year, he basically came out and said, because they've lost a few players. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was basically a bit like every other Portuguese league club getting ransacked, and he just came out and said, what's happened to this squad? Not my problem, not my responsibility. I'm with you. I'm with the fans. I hate this. Along those lines.
Yeah.
So he just called out the board directly, and I followed quite a few Portuguese sort of correspondents, and they say this is probably his final season. So good team, but a bit like Marseille. Yeah, I don't know what to expect.
That's such a the fact that it's his last season after making a comment like that he even gets to continue the season.
Yeah, it might be his last week. We don't know. Depends how bad it is. I think the one that really triggered it is Mateus Nunes leaving to Wolves, because he's been there. I mean, this isn't a Wolves YouTube channel, but at Sporting, he was hyped up to be like a really, really big talent for the future, like bigger than even the hype we've seen around him now. So Amorim was extremely disappointed he was let go. He was transferred away this summer.
There you go. So, yeah, I'll ask you first because we might need your input, because I'm struggling where to really put Sporting and Marseille, if I'm honest, because I know Frankfurt are good, but they're not anywhere near as good anymore as they were last year, so maybe they're now really bad. But what order would you predict that group in? Of course, you could be wrong, but what would you go for?
I'd go for Might go for Tottenham as well. I'm going to go Marseille, Sporting Frankfurt.
See, that's why I wasn't really sure between Marseille and Sporting, because I can't see Frankfurt with how they're doing at the moment in the Champions League group coming second. But then again, I just don't know how good Sporting and Marseille really are. So I might just take the easy way out. I might just agree with Alex Pice. Will you take the easy way out and agree with Alex, or will you go with something different for that Group D?
So when was Spurs first and who second?
He said Marseille second, Sporting third, Frankfurt last.
I mean, Alex knows better than me on these teams. To be honest with you, I don't really watch much of them. I saw Frankfurt last season against West Ham. I'm surprised their centre-back hasn't been bought, to be honest. I think it's Ndika or something. Surprised he hasn't been bought.
Ndika, yeah.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised we didn't look at him, to be fair. I thought he was very good, but maybe it was just a one-off game. But yeah, Tottenham first, and then I'll probably say Marseille second. I feel like they've got a bit more quality, but who knows, to be fair.
Who knows? Is Dimitri Payet still there? Has he left again?
That's a whole other note. He's rumoured to leave because he's not getting on with the new coach. He's trying to phase him out.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic news. And yeah, I mean, Varner said it in the chat. If Ronaldo goes to Sporting, maybe that helps them and elevates them to come second in the group. Could be, if he does end up there, but who knows if that happens that way. And Aaron, finish that Group D off for us. What do you reckon?
I'll make it short and sweet. I'm taking the easy way out and just agreeing with Alex, just because I haven't got a clue myself.
There you go. Fair play. Well, we get to a group where we, bar Victoria Pilsen, know a lot more about the teams. But Alex, most certainly group of death. What do you reckon? Is it Barca in the mud or Lukaku in the mud?
I'm an honest man. I'm a Euro expert. But I'll tell you, I haven't got a Scooby-Doo who Victoria Pilsen are. So I will focus on those top three teams. Bayern in a fun spot because they've been demolishing teams in the Bundesliga and they haven't used really any of their new signings. I don't think, like besides Mane, they haven't used Masraoui or Gravenberch, and they've also got Musiala like playing at a phenomenal level. I think if he sustains his goal rate, I think if he hits 20 goals and assists, that's a number plucked out of my head. But basically, he's close to being like the fastest like Bayern Munich player to hit like 50 goals and assists or along those lines.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's in astonishing form. Sorry, the pass tries to fit there. No, cool. Sorry if we said so.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Barcelona. I'm just going to ignore all like controversy. Yeah, I'm going to ignore all controversy because last time I tweeted about it, I got death threats. So Barcelona, great team, probably win the league, Champions League. No, I watched them at the weekend. The highlights of the weekend, they were quite interesting. Let's say they played like 3 quote defenders and no fullback, no wing back at all. I can't remember the exact formation off the top of my head or the exact lineup, but it was pretty much like Araujo, Piqué, Christensen in the back 3. And then their wide players were like Dembele and I forgot his name, but their youngster coming through. Like
Ansu Fati?
He came on in the second half, but in the second half it was like Fati and Dembele on the wings. Yeah, and then in midfield, then they had like Frenkie de Jong, Gavi, Pedri, and then Lewandowski up front. Like it was a really ballsy approach, and it's against Real Sociedad. So Xavi is like, he's not going very conservative this year. So I'm really interested in what he does in the Champions League. If he takes that approach, he might get stung, especially by Inter Milan, who under Conte were not good in the Champions League at all. I think they went out 2 group stages in a row. Then last year they got to play Liverpool in the round of 16, I think it was. So they're a bit more of a different beast. And with the world's greatest striker,
actually,
if he might be quarterfinals, I was tempted to say it, but I didn't want to overhype it. Yeah,
I'm not sure either, but I feel like it was the quarters.
I think Benfica got to play Liverpool in the quarters. Then it went to Villarreal.
Could have been. Yeah, I think you might have a point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, in a very easy Champions League group.
But as we know too well, Lukaku is good at one thing, and that's counter-attacking. So if Xavi wants to do that, then Lukaku might hurt him.
What do you mean good at one thing? He's good at standing still too, Lawrence. But I love this channel. Yeah,
Me too.
Lukaku scored like a minute into his Inter Milan comeback, so that's going to be a fun group as well. This is really like across the board. I'm not sure how many we've touched on, but there are some really fun groups. Like your group's going to be interesting between Chelsea and Milan and Salzburg. Maybe that's Zagreb. Group D is very fun. Group C, that top three is tasty. The only ones I'm looking at and thinking, I'll skip over that. Probably Group G and maybe Group A.
Yeah, I reckon Group B is one of those where it's like it might be quite close, but none of them are very interesting.
Yeah,
So-
but Group B is one of those where it's like none of them are 10 out of 10, but none of them are 5 out of 10. So
Yeah, I guarantee no one will watch a single Group B game until match day 6, and then everyone will realize they're all on 6 points, and then on the last match, everyone will watch Group B. That's how it's going to go. But yeah, Group C. What would I say? I reckon Bayern, Barcelona, Inter, Victoria Pilsen. By the way, Alex, Victoria Pilsen are from the Czech Republic, if that helps you at all. But
really,
there you are, seemingly beating all the Prague teams last season. But
Look
I
who the
will
Euro
literally
expert
go
is
with
now.
the order we have on screen. Go on, Aaron.
I said, look who the Euro expert is now.
There you go.
Called him at his own game.
I mean, that's interesting because Slavia Prague are typically the best and biggest team in the Czech Republic. So maybe
Exactly.
Pilsen have got a bit more to offer.
Maybe they do, but probably not against these three, if I'm honest. But yeah, I'll just go with that. Aaron, would you go with that, with the order that the group has been drawn in?
Yep, I agree. I think Pilsen will just be the slapping boys of the group. They'll just get done by every single team there. I think Bayern are just too strong for the other two to
Bayern will
compete.
get double
but-
digits, man.
Yeah, they're way too strong for the others. I think it'll be close between Barca and Inter, but I feel like after the summer that Barca have had at our expense on a few occasions, I think they're just going to be too strong. And I like seeing Lukaku mudded now, so I'd like to see Lukaku go out. So I'm going to say Inter third and Barca second.
There you go. I would agree. I mean, ideally, Inter come fourth. That'd be even funnier. But
That'd be great. I'd love that.
be a big fan. Pice, what do you reckon? Group in that order, or do you think Inter could beat Barcelona?
I think Inter are going to finish second. I think they'll get a result at Barca, and I think they'll beat them at the San Siro. Barca could finish second, but I just feel like Inter will grind out the results, and I think Barca might bottle it. And all the hype around them will be in the mud. That's my prediction.
I mean, it would be funny. So, I definitely take it. That's the great thing about that group. No matter who comes third, I'll find someone to laugh at. So
Exactly.
Alex,
We're either laughing at Lukaku or we're laughing at Barca, so win-win.
exactly. So we're going to have a great time. But Alex, what order do you reckon that's going to be? And it's a tough one, I know. But if I had to force you to pick an order.
Based on what I've seen this season, I'm actually going to match Pice and say Bayern, Inter, Barca, Pilsen. Yeah, I've been, like I said, a bit weirded out by Xavi's tactics, how bold and risky he was against Sociedad. Like, I really should say,
to be fair.
they did win, but that's what at least did quite nice. I was going to say, like, in that first half, there were so many good chances for Sociedad to break through. And like, even if he tidies up a bit with that attitude, I feel like he gets caught off guard by Inzaghi's Inter, who are a lot more, they're going to be a bit more conservative, and they have upgraded their team, at least for the short term. So yeah, I'm going to match Pice.
But Barcelona have the Danish Maldini. So, but yeah,
He won't
fair
be
play.
playing.
Yeah, well, if he pockets Lukaku, I'm going to be a big fan. So, but see, I don't like Barcelona and I don't like Inter. So ideally, Pilsen come second, but it's probably a pipe dream, that one. Group B then. Like I said, bit boring. Callum Hudson-Odoi maybe making it a bit more interesting if he does go on loan there for Chelsea fans. You could arguably say that Leverkusen have the most exciting attack in that group if they do get Hudson-Odoi, because I mean Atletico lost Suarez and now they have what? Well, João Felix, of course, but then they have Morata and Correa. And
Griezmann?
what? Does
Is he
Lamar
still
count
alive?
as an attacker? I don't really know.
Griezmann still there?
They got Cunha, Felix,
What about Griezmann? Is he still there?
Griezmann, yeah.
Griezmann is still there, to be fair. Okay, may have jumped the gun on that one.
I was going to say, I swear Atletico had like 6 strikers.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah, and they usually play like 1.5 because they play 2 strikers.
They play like
Griezmann.
They put like Griezmann left mid or something weird. They're so weird.
Yeah, Griezmann, I swear, doesn't even start most games these days, which is the next.
He's not been top level for a long time, bro.
The fans aren't on board with him. He came on the weekend. They lost 2-0 to Villarreal. And I thought Griezmann was really good when he came on, really sharp and making a lot of things happen. But I was reading after on The Athletic that there was a scuffle at the weekend after. Mario Hermoso basically went to fight a fan because the fan started just slating him and Atletico players. And Griezmann apparently is not being warmed to yet at all. It seems like that La Decision, whatever shit it was, did burn some bridges with the fan base.
Interesting. Oh, I see. What I think the big problem for Griezmann is that he's wearing a number 8. Why are you a striker, basically, that's wearing the number 8? I think that's all wrong, and that's the main problem here. Like Asamoah Gyan in the 2010 World Cup, the reason why he bottled a penalty against Uruguay was because he's a striker with the number 3. Had he just had a normal number, he would have scored and Ghana would have been in the World Cup semi-final. But he had to pick a number 3 and ruined it. But, weird superstitions, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably expect Atletico to top it. With Leverkusen's start to the season, you cannot see them doing anything, even with Hudson-Odoi. So I'd say Atletico, Porto, Leverkusen, Bruges. Don't really know about Bruges. I swear, like every time they're in the Champions League, they just get battered by whoever they play against. I swear that happens every time.
No, I wouldn't say so. Last year Bruges did all right, they did all right because remember.
I feel like I remember them getting battered by Leipzig, or was that Genk potentially?
It would have been Leipzig, but they did quite well early on because on that first game of the Champions League season, they played PSG with Messi. And everyone expected PSG to whitewash.
True, and then they won like 2-1 or something, didn't they?
They drew, but they drew and they really played them off the park at points.
I just looked at Bruges last season. They did play Leipzig, right? So listen to this. So in September, they beat Leipzig 2-1 away. Then their home game at Bruges in November, they lost 5-0. How does that happen?
I remember that one. I remember
how do you win 2-1 away and then lose 5-0 at home? That is outrageous.
That must have been where Jesse Marsh left.
That's that's Chelsea vibes. That is just the difference in result. Like you win and then you lose 5-0.
Bruges are a bit weird as well because they've had like 3 managers now in the past year. Not sacking them. I think at the time they lost, they had Paul Clement. Philippe Clement, sorry, who's now gone, who went to Monaco in January. Then they got a new coach in, who I don't know the name of, but he's now the new Ajax boss. He was made Ajax boss in the summer. And now they've got a new coach. And to give it a context for every team, including Bruges, no team here seems to be on it. Like Leverkusen, we've touched on, they've not won a game so far this season. Hudson-Odoi should solve problems. Their main issue is that they have nothing going down the left. They're playing Adam Klozek, that new signing. He's coming in as a striker, and then they have no left back as attacking. So Hudson-Odoi, I weirdly tweeted on the day, like, Leverkusen need a left winger. Hudson-Odoi got linked, so maybe that will sort them out.
But do they play Diaby on the right? I thought Diaby was a left winger.
They play Diaby on the right. Porto,
I think it's a good move for Callum. The only problem is obviously Leverkusen's bad start of the season. So
yeah, I think it's a great move. I think it's a really good move, actually.
Who's their manager these days?
Is Gerardo Seoane, and he's a different Bundesliga coach. He doesn't play like basically Hudson-Odoi is not going to go there and like be pressing like mad and doing a load of like the typical Bundesliga thing. Leverkusen a bit more reserved, a bit more counter-attacking. So I actually really think
so. Basically, it's the worst loan possible to prepare him for ever coming back to Chelsea.
No, I think he knows how to press. We've seen that. I think he'll just get some good form under his belt. I'm a big fan.
But then he becomes good at counter-attacking, comes back to Chelsea. We never counter-attack, so he's wasted again. Do you know what I mean?
Well, hopefully Tuchel has sort of amended a little bit of his tactics, maybe. Well, hopefully there's a role for him.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I was going to say, Porto have been ransacked over the last year as well. Like, now they've lost Diaz and... I was going to say, Bruges.
Is Pepe still playing or is he retired by now?
He is still playing. I watched him last Friday and he looks very, 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 very slow. very slow indeed. So
Sounds like Harry Maguire, really. So maybe Chelsea interested in him too.
Fuck right off.
Honestly, man, it's depressing these days. But Alex, if I had to force you to pick an order, what would you pick for that group?
I'll keep it short then. I will go with Atletico Porto, Leverkusen, Brugge.
I would agree. Pice, would you agree, or do you think Callum will cause an upset and top the group?
I'm going Leverkusen second. Backing my boy Hudson-Odoi is going to do a madness against Porto. No, I think, I'm going to go with them second, but I just think, isn't their defence like really bad, Leverkusen? I mean, they're like...
And we're interested in one of their defenders. Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, they're not that bad. I think
they're not. I mean, I swear they've had a horrible start to the season, but...
They have, but they were
to be fair.
They were better last year with the defence. I think they've been... Like, they're not as chaotic as you think.
I'll go Leverkusen second, just because I remember Porto. I swear they always get smashed as soon as they face a decent team in the Champions League. But yeah, I'm going.
But I feel like
Leverkusen.
still Porto way too often make it into the round of 16 or even quarters sometimes. So
they do, but I don't know.
They must have decent group stages usually, even though I never pay attention to Porto because I don't know. Porto is never a team that they just don't.
They're boring.
I don't know. They're the ugly Portuguese team, aren't they? Like Sporting usually tried to play fancy football. Benfica tried to play some football.
They're horrible. Conceição is like the Portuguese Daesh on like steroids or something. He was horrible, bro. Remember when we played Porto? It's like the Portuguese Daesh times 1,000. Like
I just call him the Portuguese Simeone, but yeah,
so
essentially
dirty, bro. Like you remember they literally tried to break Pulisic's legs. It was disgusting. And then Tuchel didn't handshake him, and yeah, what a throwback.
There you go. Pice, order. You said Leverkusen second. Does that mean Porto third, Bruges fourth?
Yeah.
Fair.
I don't think the Belgian league is as good as the other two, so I'm going to do that.
Probably. And Aaron, do you reckon Callum can help Leverkusen get through to the knockouts, or do you think Porto will take that second spot behind most likely Atletico?
Callum ain't doing shit, man. Let's be real. Leipzig are coming third. Porto second, Atletico first, and
Leverkusen.
What's that?
Leverkusen, not Leipzig, bro.
Oh, do you see? I thought about shit, and Leipzig came to my mind. But Leverkusen third, Porto second, Atletico first, and Club Brugge will just be the Pilsen equivalent, the whipping boys of Group B.
Fair play. Group A then. Now we're probably all going to agree that Liverpool are going to top the group. But Alex, do you think Rangers could cause an upset here for either one of the pot 1 and pot 3 teams, or do you think Rangers will unfortunately end their European dream very early this year?
It's a tough one because I cover Scottish football for a Celtic Patreon, so I can't go 100% into depth into Rangers, but I'll be looking into them over the next week, and I've been reading online from their fans that they're not. I was reading from the fans saying basically having a debate over Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, the manager's job, which sounds crazy. He got them to the Europa League final last year, but effectively they're calling him a cup manager, and he's just not doing it in the league, and they're very boring to watch.
What's Chelsea get him next then? Because we love a cup manager.
Oh god, this is like being in therapy. It's great. So maybe they will do well, but it's not. Rangers aren't as harmonious as we might think from face value. Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. So between Ajax and Napoli then, I mean, obviously Liverpool have had an awful start to the season, but you'd assume by the time we get to this, they will have fixed themselves and will probably top that group. But between Ajax and Napoli then, who do you see favourites between the two to come second?
Napoli quite easily. I think Ajax losing Lisandro Martinez, Ryan Gravenberch, Mazraoui, like those are 3 very big players for that team who were very crucial last year.
And potentially Anthony.
Yeah, although I think that's a bit of a waste of money. Okay, stay tuned to the Euroexpert channel. Videos coming out tonight. I think United are wasting their money there. And losing Erik ten Hag, that's what I was going to say, is a very big blow.
Who has replaced Erik ten Hag, actually? I don't know who the new
I told you, it's the former Club Brugge manager, and I'll get his name up now. It's
It's like Shearer or something. I don't know what his name is. He's bald like Ten Hag, I think.
I mean, he's not very well known because you type in Ajax manager and Erik ten Hag still comes up. It is Alfred Schreuder.
Yeah,
Schröder.
Schröder.
You poor boy struggling with the German names.
Schroeder. Yeah.
Schröder,
I think Ajax are not going to be a threat this year, so I'd have Napoli second, Ajax third.
But what if Hakim Ziyech comes in and turns them into the 18-19 Ajax?
I don't think he will. I don't think Ziyech's the same player anymore.
Yeah, see, I don't either. But who knows? Maybe the Eredivisie brings it back out of him. But with that said, then, do you reckon Liverpool, Napoli, Ajax, Rangers, or do you think Rangers could topple Ajax?
No, I back that order. Maybe Rangers will pip Ajax, but I think I still back that order.
Fair enough. Aaron, what order would you go for in that group then?
Well, I heard Alex say waste of money when he was talking about Anthony. I thought we were talking about Anthony Gordon for a minute, but I would say, don't even get me started. But I'm going to be controversial. I don't think Liverpool finished top. I'm going to say Napoli finished top, Liverpool finished second. Listen, I've had some mad takes already. I might as well just keep them up. And be a bit different. But I think Napoli finished top. I think Liverpool, they're in the mud. They'll finish second. I think it'll be Napoli first, Liverpool second, and I think Rangers will pip Ajax to third.
Fair enough. Pice, what about you?
Beat me to it. I think Napoli will finish top. I think Liverpool will finish second. And I think... you know what? I think Ajax are going to have a bit of a stinker. I think they're going to finish last. I'm going to go Rangers third. I think they can cause some upsets. Especially at home. That Ibrox is a mad place to play. Very tough for every team.
See, and for exactly that reason, I'm going to go for a different kind of shock. I'm going to say Liverpool top, Rangers second, Napoli third, Ajax fourth. I feel like Napoli... I've never seen Napoli do well in Europe. Like, I've never experienced Napoli do well in Europe. Never seen that in my life. I mean, they sometimes make it to the knockouts, but then they're always knocked out first round of knockouts every time.
Hey, I want to ask Alex about this new winger they've got, because I swear to you, I watched the comp of this guy the other day, and I can't say his name, but he literally looks like the next whatever his name is. Mate, he's from Georgia. I tell you what,
that's it.
This
Do you know
guy,
what they're calling him?
I've never seen a winger like this. Mate, he literally looked. He did. He literally looked like Messi or Maradona. He looks insane. And I'm going to be watching him closely. I'm telling you, mate. I watched this comp, like 5-minute comp. I never seen anyone dribble like that in my life. He's like 21 or something, isn't he? Something like that. Mate, they just bought him. I tell you, he's going to go.
Basically, what you're saying, miles clear of Anthony Gordon. Okay, thanks.
Mate, I tell you, he's going to go for like 70, 80 million. He looks ridiculous.
I was just fact checking, and Napoli in the Champions League, and it's just because I felt I've got good memory of that, and pretty soon they did have good history before. I mean, it's quite a while ago. Remember, like 2017, 2018, they were like playing against Man City, and that is when Pep called Sarri one of the best coaches in Europe.
And that's when he started wanting Jorginho.
But he loved him to bits. Which we should be careful what we say. This is like being like an American TV talking about Sarri. One word wrong, and you've lost half your audience, Laurenz.
Yeah, don't do that. Praise the Lord, sorry.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, see, I don't know. Napoli, since Sarri left, I don't really care about them anymore. So now I'm just going to say they're going to come third. This is what I'm going to say. Let's see when I'm going to be correct. Now, just quickly, I'll ask all of you three, and I'll give my own prediction as well, just randomly, who we think are going to be the two finalists. But before that, what I need is Alex's prediction of the last three groups, which he wasn't here for yet when we gave our predictions. So, starting out with Group F, Madrid, Leipzig, Shakhtar, Celtic. What do you reckon, mate?
I'll go quickly through so we can get to the final prediction. Group F, I would be going with Madrid, Leipzig, sadly Celtic, and then Shakhtar. I think, Shakhtar being ravaged.
Yeah, unfortunately. Group G then, City, Sevilla, Dortmund, Copenhagen. I'm not sure if all the boys did, but I went for Dortmund second, Sevilla third. Would you agree with that, or do you think Sevilla will top of that?
I'm going to copy a joke that one of you must have said. City first, Dortmund second, Sevilla third to get into the Europa League and win it themselves.
I did make that joke, thank you. There you go. And then Group H, PSG, Juve. Do you think Juve could get a shock exit, or do you think they'll make it through?
Oh no, man. I know Juventus were horrific yesterday. I mean, I said I'd keep it short, but I really recommend. We all probably saw that screenshot going around of their tactics. They're like the Lampard tactics, where you have no midfield. I'm a big Allegri fan, so I watched the extended highlights. That thinking this is just an out of context screenshot. Oh my god, yeah, I don't know what it was going on, but in some places it worked. Allegri instructed his midfielders just to hug the sidelines with the winger. It was crazy. I've never seen any team play like this. It was like they were scared of the middle. Really recommend going and watching highlights of that. They looked horrific. I definitely got PSG.
Why? How is Allegri turned into a bad manager? That's the part I don't understand.
I don't think he's a bad manager. I think he's a bit out of touch. I think he's very conservative.
But how has it changed in 2 years? So like they had him, won the league, sacked him, got Sarri, still won the league. Then got Allegri back, didn't win the league, and now we're not looking great again either. So
the thing with Allegri was that he's more of an adaptable man. He kind of adapts to the players he has, but he does it in quite a pragmatic, conservative way. Like when Juventus last won the league, they were not the highest goal scorers, and Sarri's Napoli arguably should have won it. I believe. I think it was a year before, like 18-19 or 17-18. Like they really weren't like good enough to be winning the league if they were here today, I don't think, or at least it wouldn't be as clear as they were. And they were playing more like a 4-4-2 system and just quite slow counter-attacking football. Truth is, it's a bit like Liga and Serie A's kind of flipped the league on its head in the last couple of years.
Actually for a year, didn't they? Sorry, I forgot about Pirlo.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a bit like Liga, and the leagues are kind of flipped on their head over the last couple of years, where the quality's kind of dramatically risen, and Allegri's come back, and there is fact behind this. Chiellini himself said last season that Allegri came in and thought he had the same group of players that he had when he left, and that cost him in the first half of the season.
That is obviously a problem, yeah. That is a problem. But do you still think they're going to make it through?
Yes, I'd put the group in that exact order, and I imagine, we're talking about finalists next, so I'm going to be talking about PSG in a second.
There you go. Obviously, we are all very aware that the finalists drastically depend on the draw, because the two that we're going to mention for finalists now could play each other in the quarterfinals, and then obviously they can't be finalists against each other. So this is a complete guess and just for fun. But and I will actually start with Pice. Finalists. Who do you reckon will be the Champions League finalists this season?
Real Madrid again, and it's between actually 4 teams for me. Yes, I don't know who's going. And obviously it's like random, so I don't know what the draws are going to be. But yeah, I'm thinking Bayern, PSG, City, and Chelsea.
You're confident.
Yeah, I am, because I think we're good in the Champions League. I think we got unlucky last season. If we didn't fuck up that first leg, we was already in the semi-finals if we basically won that first leg or draw. So, you know what? I'm going to go Real Madrid, PSG, I think. I think Chelsea will probably lose in the quarters or semis. I don't know who to. I think maybe semis, actually. I think we're going to go on a good cup run.
Okay. Aaron, what are your finalists' predictions?
Well, I think the name that I've put on here kind of gives away one of the teams who I think will be in there.
Sure.
Yeah, so not only did I say we're going to win 6 group stage games, but I also think we're going to win the whole competition. So
you do realise, right? You do realise if we get to the final, we win the Champions League somehow again. You realise that we are finishing like 5th or 6th in the Premier League, right? That's how it's going to go.
If we win the Champions League, I don't care.
But that's how it's going to go.
Aaron, are you going to get to the Champions League final winning every single knockout game as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are not conceding a single goal.
We're going to fucking buy Havertz to do something if that's going to happen, don't we? Fucking hell.
Listen, just let a man dream. Let a man dream. But yeah, I'm going to Amsterdam tomorrow, so I'll be dreaming a lot more there. But I reckon it's going to be Chelsea, and I'm going to stick Bayern in there. I think Bayern Munich. I
ain't watching that game if that happens. Jesus Christ.
Listen. Don't worry. We've done them once in the final already. We can do it again. No problem.
All right. Before I let Alex take the stand, I'll say City, because I think Haaland will help them more in Europe than he will in the Premier League. because there's more gaps for them in Europe, and that's when his strengths will shine even more than they will in the Prem, especially this season. So I must say City. And the problem is with PSG now, with the way they've looked so far this season, you probably think you're crazy not to pick them, but I feel like with PSG, it's always like they always look great. Well, not always. They didn't under Pochettino, but that's Pochettino. But otherwise, they always look great in the French league, right? And then as soon as they play like a City or a Chelsea or Real Madrid, that's when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see for the first time all season PSG struggling again. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen again or not. Do you know what I mean? So Bayern, but I always feel like Bayern have it so a bit. I think Bayern and PSG both have that problem. Especially at the moment, they have it so easy in their own leagues that as soon as they get to actually playing a good team in the Champions League, they're not used to playing other good teams, and that's when they start struggling all of a sudden. Which is why I always thought that's why La Liga always dominated Europe so much for so many years, because they had the right mix of good opponents in their own league and not good teams. Because in England there was too many, and no winter break, so we always had a minor disadvantage from England. But Spain, they at least had like Real Madrid, Barca, Atletico, and maybe a Sevilla, Valencia in there, depending on what year you're talking. But PSG and Bayern are basically just always by themselves. Of course, a little bit up there the last 2 years, I get that, but yeah. So I'm not sure. I pick PSG because if they find a way to all season get Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi working without conceding too many goals, like how is that not going to be successful? If that works, like, do you know what I mean? How is that not going to be most teams? So I'm going to say City, PSG, but obviously they could just play each other in the quarterfinals and then not get anywhere near that far. But you hinted on picking PSG for that one, Alex. But will you? And who will be the other one?
I will, and it's a good point for you to bring up about the them getting far in the competition before and suddenly coming against like a team of their level and falling apart. And they've always been told they look good.
Especially now with a manager that's not used at all to be at that level.
Yes. But I will say, by the way, there's a bit of an echo from your mic, Laurenz. I was going to say that this year, PSG have been praised by literally every French journalist, and I'd say so myself, as not being like amazing, as being this is the best PSG team we've ever seen. And I don't think that's very arguable either. Like the best PSG team I think that's been around was 2019-20 Tuchel, and they got them to the final. And this PSG team, what's making them stand out is they're not playing like individuals stuck into a team. They're playing like a genuine team. And I think the key difference, not to harp on and on and on about it, I think the key difference is that they've actually kind of put in some discipline. Like that Neymar and Mbappe incident we had 2 weeks ago. We're forgetting about it. Yeah, sorry?
Mbappe definitely isn't. Did you see the ball the other week when he just walked off the pitch?
That's a good point. This is what I'm talking about. So what happened with that is we're not talking about that as much now that happened because it happened a week ago. And that's because straight away the day after, sporting director called both players into their office and was like, that's not happening ever again. And manager did the same thing, and it was squashed. And immediately in the next game, it was like all was good on the pitch. Neymar and Mbappe both on good terms again. So it feels like they found not only form.
The part I didn't understand, why did anyone have a go at Neymar for it? He didn't do anything wrong in that situation.
He took a penalty. He took the second penalty after Mbappe missed. So,
but was he not supposed to be doing that?
He said he was confused over it, and then his bad thing was he liked some tweets about Mbappe, which and again he got called out on that apparently in the PSG management. So what's
if you're Neymar, if Pulisic's dad can do it, then Neymar can do it. Do you know what I mean?
Basically, they've got the team together and they've got the discipline together. So I think they will definitely be in the final two. I'm going for an overall final four, though. Very boring for a Euro expert, but Liverpool, Chelsea, and City.
Liverpool ain't getting that far. There's no way.
I think they will. I think they
right. Liverpool suck this season. Without Mane, they look so bad.
Mate, I'm still not certain.
I'll find a way to fix that, though. It's
I'm still not certain they won't win the league.
Have you seen that 7th season curse as well with Klopp, with Mainz and Dortmund, and now it's 7th season at Liverpool or something? Mate, I'm telling you, they're washed this season. They don't look the same. I know it's 3 games in, but they're mudded, bro. Scousers in the mud. Liverpool are going to get knocked out of the group stages.
But Pius, what I'd say to you, remember 2 years ago when they were in a genuine crisis, they had like nobody available. They were loaning Ozan Kabak in to play centre back with like
I know. I just think honestly, ever since
But
Mane
then
left,
they got
bro,
to
Mane's-
the quarterfinals.
I think Nunes is arse as well. I think Mane's such a big miss for them. Honestly, I think Nunes sucks. So
I don't know. I think I wouldn't be
Certainly
surprised if
loves the
they end up in the
headbutt.
final.
I'll come back to this. Liverpool ain't getting semis. Come back to it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll say it's an interesting one. I'm always a fan when Alex, who's not a fan of Chelsea like we are, and he says Chelsea will do well, then it always makes me feel much better about myself. So 2 last things before we end this very, very long stream. Number 1, I'll start with you, Pies. Please tell me the latest on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. What is the latest as of today?
Same old, really. I mean, Jordi Cruyff, I think the director has said there's negotiations going on like 30 minutes ago, and we'll see what happens. I mean, to me, I watched a bit of the friendly between Barca or a charity game between Barca and Man City. It was actually quite competitive, to be fair, for a charity game. I thought it looked like a bit like a normal game. They both played strong teams. And when he came off, I thought it looked like a bit of a goodbye. Looked a bit sad. Didn't necessarily like clap the whole stadium, but he put his arm up. So yeah, I think that one will get done. I don't know what's going on with Fofana and Gordon. I mean, it's Friday tomorrow, for God's sake. I mean, what I have noticed is a lot does happen over the weekend. Like when we get to Monday, we usually hear, "Oh, this happened over the weekend." So maybe when Chelsea are playing on Saturday or Sunday, then that's when I don't know agreement might be reached or something. But I mean, I said on Monday that I think on Friday we'll agree a deal for Fofana and it'll come out of nowhere, and then by Saturday it'll probably. That's. I mean, he's not playing. Brendan Rodgers confirmed that, but yeah, I mean, everything's at the same point. We're just waiting for. I
But
don't
I
know.
swear there
Waiting
was
for it
on
to
the
be
Aubameyang,
agreed.
there was
It's
some
weird.
news. Wasn't it Gerald Romero that said it's basically done now for? I think
Yeah, he said he was
Ben
waiting.
Jacobs also say it's basically
I
done
mean,
now.
but Gerard Romero said Aubameyang was waiting at the airport this morning to go to Chelsea, and then he said well, he's going to Paris first with his family. So I don't know what on earth's going on, but at least the Barca chief, I think Jordi Cruyff has said there is, we're going to have to see because there is negotiations going on. But again, I think it's that price tag, bro. I think Barca want 25 mil, Chelsea want to pay like 15 plus add-ons. Like
But didn't
it's
Ben
got to get
Jacobs say
worked
that
out.
that's agreed now for 25 million euros cash?
I
Only.
don't know. I don't know
I'm
what he said to be fair, but yeah.
pretty sure it's about it.
I mean, there's just been like not enough. Like I don't know. Matt Law's not tweeted in a week and a half. Like
He's probably on holiday, I assume.
I mean, no one's sort of. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of relying on Fabrizio at the minute, to be honest. There's not really much.
It is a bit strange, but Alex, I will give you the floor and just say what you think about Anthony Gordon. And one question that I'd like you to answer in this whole debate as well is because even the fans that are not as against it, I think everyone is aware that £60 million is absolute insanity, and they didn't even accept £60 million. So if we are to get him, we're going to pay more than that, or the same plus some loan players, right? Which in some cases of loan players like Amishi Batshuayi, obviously it's not one they won Broja. But if we were to give them like Batshuayi, then maybe that would be a benefit for us because then we'd get another Donny off our wage bill. But how much money is too much money for Anthony Gordon? Like at what price point would you say now it's not a bad signing anymore, Alex?
20 mil?
Or is he for Chelsea always a bad signing just because he's not good enough for Chelsea?
Yeah.
That's what I think. I wouldn't even buy him for £5 because I'm like, why would I have a player that's not good enough for us?
Well, the best way I can summarize this move is, right? I tweeted it yesterday. I follow everyone from the most deluded to the most sensible Everton fans, right? And there's one I'll shout out, I think his name's Tactically Matt, and he's Everton writer. And do you know what the Everton fans are saying? They're saying, this Anthony Gordon money is great. We'll take it and we can go out and sign some new attackers. And I'm like, how about Chelsea skip to the step of Everton, what Everton are doing, taking the money and using it wisely instead of giving them the money for... Honestly, let's be honest. Anthony Gordon was from Europe. He'd be worth 10 mil, 10, 20 mil at maximum. Absolute max. Like, it's coming from the English premium and the price inflation. And I'm hearing... the strongest argument I've made so far is that even if this signing works out and it becomes a great success, like let's say he goes on to be a Champions League level player for Chelsea, it doesn't excuse the money that's being spent now. Like, it doesn't change the fact this is a horrific overpay. I could genuinely rant on and on and on and on and on about it. Like, we've said so many players today that would be cheaper for Chelsea. For Chelsea, yes, even with Chelsea spending and how much they'd be asked for, and it'd be better value. Like, honestly, if you're Chelsea, you'd probably rather spend an extra 30 mil on Anthony. What Man United are stupidly playing.
No, I wouldn't at all. I think that's no.
Compared to Anthony Gordon.
Anthony Gordon, at least he's played in the Premier League, bro. That Anthony is just a skilled flip.
One season and for Everton.
He's not like I don't think Anthony's going to offer the work rate and the pressing that Anthony Gordon.
No, I don't either. But
I wouldn't want Anthony for that price. I think it's even.
I think we should just sign Mo Farah. He definitely is better at pressing than Anthony Gordon.
But that's a good point as well.
One thing you've got to say though, like give it to him. Like he is extremely direct. Like he's not afraid to dribble. And what the Chelsea fans always moan about.
I said this the other day. I'm not sure if you were on that stream. We play low blocks. Directness is completely pointless against low blocks.
It's not if they actually try.
Because defenses.
Yeah, but it's not if they actually try and win fouls.
Christian Pulisic was a direct player until he came to Chelsea. That's what happens to direct players when they're at Chelsea.
Injuries. Well, Sterling hasn't stopped being direct, Jay. He's still running at players. So.
Yeah, but against Everton, he had a huge chance where he could have shot, or was it Spurs? Where he could have shot early, decided to not shoot early, way too long, and then skied it.
But see, what I'd say with that is, I'll give it to him. He works very, very hard, and he is direct. But I'm not a coach, but if I was to make a list of things that I feel like you could teach a footballer and arrange them from hardest to easiest, I reckon working hard and being direct would be pretty low down on that list. As I say, the Anthony thing, I'm not saying I'd value Anthony at 30 mil as well, 20, 30 mil based on what he's done in his career. And when he arrived to his first season at Ajax, he was really good. I feel like Anthony has more value to him, more things that you probably can't coach Anthony Gordon and vice versa. I wouldn't be spending the money on either of them. And that's the thing, I feel like there's been so many better value deals than this that have popped up for Anthony Gordon. Are you going to play? When it first came up, I thought Tuchel was going to play him a right wing back. And I'm like, hello, what? Why are you paying 50 million for a left winger to play a right wing back when I know he wasn't interested in moving to your club, but you could have got the caliber of play of Jonathan Klaus for 15 million euros. You could have got that level.
It doesn't. To be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure out what we're doing with this because obviously I think we're gonna buy Fofana. Reece James will go back to wing back with probably Loftus-Cheek as the backup. So if we stick to the same formation, then I don't see us buying Gordon to sit on the bench as a 50, 60-man bench player. So that's where I keep thinking we're going to change formation to probably that 4-2-2 because I don't see him.
Well, we also paid 15 million for a guy that's never played a game of professional football. So
yeah, but
maybe we'll pay 60 million for someone to sit on the bench.
No, it's completely different in my opinion. I can't see that happening. I think. The worst case scenario I'm thinking of in my head is that he puts Fofana in the middle, rests Silva, puts Reece at right centre back, and then plays Gordon right wing back. Now that is a nightmare in my head, and I hope he does not, for God, do that. Because if we pay £60 million for a right wing back,
worse right wing back than Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi.
If he does that, I can't defend it anymore because Reece has to play right wing back. Right centre back, certain games, yes, but he can't. Reece won't sign a bloody new contract.
Instead. Well, I'm like, sorry, what?
Mate, if he does that, I'll be done. Honestly, I'll be so done.
Plus, I'm with you. But then, if Anthony Gordon is playing in your 4-2-2, who gets benched?
So I think what he'd do is he'd probably play a back four, Cucurella, Silva / Koulibaly, Fofana, Reece James, Jorginho / Kante, Kovacic, then probably. I reckon Sterling and Aubameyang up top, with Sterling dropping deeper, and then probably Gordon and Mount on the wide flanks is what I think.
But then, the benching Kai Havertz?
Yeah, I think so. I think he will.
I mean, most Chelsea fans want him to be benched even for Broja or even worse players. So,
I've seen that, but comparing Havertz to Gordon, man, I know he's not been in a good form, but I feel like there's still levels there.
Well, I don't know about that. Havertz is rubbish at the moment, so he can't do a thing.
That's like when Messi is rubbish. Messi might have not had a good year, but he will still always be better than everyone than most other.
Havertz has just got a big name at the moment, man. This guy's on massive fraud watch. He's just got a big name.
But you know what? You know what? I'm a big fan because I never spoke about the runs of Havertz because I'm like, I don't have anything to back it up. And I'm like, how am I going to prove it? So that's why I didn't even speak about it. And I was like, when this stat came out about his most runs into the box and most runs in general, I found it so funny. No one used that excuse for Lukaku. Everyone used that excuse for Lukaku. Oh, we're not finding his runs. We're not finding his runs. Now 3 games in, we're starting up. We're not finding his runs.
So I
But
got
no one
the
says that for Havertz.
so I got the stats up for Anthony Gordon. So I'm curious. Like I've looked a little into this movie, but not enough. Like, and I've looked into it, and I'm even more confused because he only completes one. Like if we're bringing him as a dribbler, he completes 1.1 per 90, which is not a lot at all. That's about average, and he completes.
And that's for Everton, who don't play low blocks. So for us, dribbling will be even more difficult.
He completes
Oh,
48% of them as well.
We got some news from the Telegraph. Chelsea are now preparing to increase their offer for Wesley Fofana, with Leicester City eyeing Manuel Akanji as top replacement.
All right, you go get Akanji, lads, and we go get Fofana and just get it done, please.
There is also confidence that Chelsea will strike a deal for Barcelona striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So nothing on Gordon in there, which is interesting. Nothing on Gordon in there.
Maybe Gordon's not happening. Maybe you guys can rest.
Maybe just Everton wants so much money that even we aren't stupid enough to pay it.
In fairness, if I was in the Everton boardroom right now, I'd be like, how much do you reckon we could get for him? Add another 10 on there. Just see what happens.
That honestly, it feels like when Man United bought Fred and Shakhtar Donetsk were laughing their way to the back. I mean, that's what it feels like. And honestly, the question is like, who's more stupid? Us bidding 60 million for him, or Everton saying no to 60 million? Like, it's honestly a genuine question.
I don't think there's a question in saying that if Everton spend the Anthony Gordon money well, this is the difference between them and a relegation fight.
Yeah,
like they're swapping an average. Let's be honest. At the moment, whatever you think of what it'd be in the future, they're swapping like a fairly average Premier League winger for 60 million, which would probably buy them at least one above average Premier League player. Like, it's crazy. I don't get the logic. I don't get the business sense of this.
I don't get it whatsoever. I
don't
understand it. A wing back, I don't understand it in a 4-2-2. I don't understand it as a winger.
Just from an outsider's
I keep saying this. He's 3.5 months younger than Hudson-Odoi, and he's not even as good as Hudson-Odoi was when Hudson-Odoi was 17.
I was going to say, from outsider's perspective, it feels like Pies will know a lot more than me, but from not paying too much attention to Chelsea, but their transfers, it feels like Todd Boehly has not got any recruitment team in, but he's just going off word of mouth. He's
going off what Tuchel wants, bro. It's clearly obvious. I mean, even last night, I think Dominic King from where is he? Is it Daily Mail? I think it might be. He's like a really big reporter. He said, I tweeted out that Tuchel apparently, so he put Gordon's name down on a notebook after he got that assist at Stamford Bridge last season when Everton scored late equaliser, and then apparently what did it was the game last season when they beat us 1-0. Apparently Tuchel really liked his speed, persistence that went with his talent, and then it said Tuchel saw a player who he really felt he could work with in the future, and that's what did it apparently. So,
and that's fair enough. It's okay to like a player, but that doesn't mean you have to pay 60 million for him or more.
It's ridiculous, and that's where Boehly, he doesn't have. That's what I was saying to you, Laurenz. Even though I don't like Marino, it's like Marino actually has a sense of financial footballing at least.
What's worth what in football?
Yeah, know-how, you know what I mean? Whereas with, honestly, if is Rafael Leao worth £100 million at this moment? No. Do I think Chelsea could physically, could I see that happening if Gordon doesn't happen? Yes,
but
because we just
pay
whatever they want.
Worth £100 million than Anthony Gordon is worth.
He is. I'm just saying, I'm just saying though, Boehly will just he does. I don't know, bro. It's he just doesn't have a limit. I don't feel like that's what's crazy. I don't know. Unless it's Declan Rice for 140. It's just crazy to me. How can you go from 45 million for Gordon? I thought, yeah, that's absolute tops. Fucking £60 million. Where's that come from?
I'd even be fuming at 45 million. I'm fuming at the fact that Tuchel doesn't want Hudson-Odoi but wants Gordon. That in itself makes me annoyed, no matter the price.
And on one hand, Tuchel was smarter than anyone else in this call at football. I'm not. If he thinks Anthony Gordon's the man, I'm going to be a bit more quiet about it. But at the same time, I think look at what's happened with Man United. Eric Ten Hag, from at least what's been reported, the people he's identified have been Adrian Rabiot, Arnautovic, and now Anthony for an extortionate fee, and they are.
I think it's just being a private agent for Ajax and just wants to give them loads of money. I think
the point is these guys are managers; they're not recruitment staff, so they feel like there has to be a lot more going into it rather than Tuchel. Who do you want? Okay, Brighton. How much do you want for Cucurella? 50? Here's 60. Let's get it done.
Oh, for God's sake. Fabrizio said our bid is going to be around 75 million. They don't want 75 million. They want 80 million plus. What's wrong with us? I swear to God, I swear to living God, if they reject this one, I'm losing everything. I'm losing my literal marbles, mate, if they reject this one.
But again, we raise our offer by 10 million for Anthony Gordon. But for Fofana, in the last month, we've raised it by about 5.
What's the difference? What is the actual difference, right? If you're prepared to bid 75 million, what is the difference between that and 80 million? It is literal pennies.
Just don't buy Anthony Gordon and you have a whole 60 million extra.
God, I swear if they reject this, I'm literally going to, oh my.
It's painful. Oof. Just don't give me Anthony Gordon. I just do not want him. Do you know what I mean? Like honestly, I talked to an Everton fan and they said at that same age, Barkley was 3 times as good as Anthony Gordon. Barkley. And Barkley we've had at the club for, what, 5 years and we haven't been able to get rid of him. Do we want that again? No! Leave me alone.
That's a good point as well. Like, whatever we see in him, look at Kai Havertz. Like, so many people said he was going to be going straight to the top. And, like, now we're saying that he needs to be benched no matter what. He's just not good enough. So, like, he has...
That's because he plays at Chelsea, though.
Yeah, but he had 5 times the output of Anthony Gordon. Like, is Anthony Gordon going to move to Chelsea and be immune from what happened to Kai Havertz? Or is he going to suffer? If Anthony Gordon loses
Havertz
his
is
output...
good at pressing, mind you. It's not just Anthony Gordon. Havertz, if there's one thing he is good at, it's pressing and movement. Those are the 2 things Havertz is good at the moment.
Let's be honest. If Anthony Gordon has the same goal and assist output as an attacker in 3 years' time as a Chelsea player, you'll end up selling him for 5 mil.
Maybe 10.
10 for the English premium.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But then lose it again because he's Scouse. So he boos the English anthem. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But hey, let's turn it back to a more positive thing. We got a pretty decent Champions League group. That's pretty nice. I think we're going to round it out here, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a very long stream. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in to us today. Please subscribe if you haven't already and smash that like button. Check out your experts, Alex's socials, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Check it all out. Please also follow Pies on his Twitter and check out his website, chelseafc365.com. Nearly couldn't get it out. And please also show some appreciation to Aaron. Aaron, I haven't heard your wonderful voice in a hot minute. I do apologize. You've been here all the way, so I appreciate it very much.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Any last thoughts on your end? Now we've heard someone that, well, focuses on knowing his shit about footballers, even if it's mostly from a more global perspective or a more European perspective than just England. But now there's another person telling us do not sign Anthony Gordon, but we're still trying to sign Anthony Gordon. So any last thoughts on that?
Last thoughts, Anthony Gordon is shite. I don't know what the fuck we're doing, but we're in the Champions League, so it doesn't matter. Up the fucking Blues.
There you go. And we have a super chat to finish it off with Swiss Daniel. And he says, am I the only one here that would take Eden Hazard back? Because I would. Sentimental or not, I don't care. Would I rather Hazard than Anthony Gordon? Yes. But would Hazard press anyone near as much as Tuchel would want?
I can't let my boy get dragged with this social media thing right now. Like, nah, man. Let him rest in peace. Like, I don't know, bro. You just know he's not the same player anymore, is he? Like, he'll just get dragged, and I can't be asked for that. Like, he's had his story here.
That is true. That is
keep
true.
him
He'd just
safe.
come not be good, and it'd just be the same as with Havertz
Exactly.
now. People would just love to hate. But that's what they're going to do. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. We're going to round it out here. Up the Chelsea. Upwards and onwards. Please no Anthony Gordon. And we'll see you next time.